And hello to you too, Miles. He's ready to go, but congratulations, early gang. You get really content. Wow. He's a jealous boy. He really is. Come here. Hera. Hello, sweet child. He is also very spoiled. He went on a 3-mile run with me yesterday, so unfortunately I fear I've kind of built that up to be the status quo now. He's a very regimented dog. You see this a lot in the working breeds. I started walking him right after dropping my daughter off to school. So now, even all summer long, if I am not grabbing that leash by 9 a.m., he is like crying his brains out. He has gone for a WALK, and yet he remain a crying. Let me really quick, because we're still early, gang, see if I can get this font size a little bigger, shall I? Let me just jump into the CSS of my chat box real quick. You can see I was trying something a little new, a little different, but, you know, it's just, could stand to be workshopped a little bit here. Let me see how this works. This might still be a bit subtle. Oh, do you guys can see Miles' tail just wagging in the background? Hold on, we might have to give the chat box a moment to like... Oh, wow. Is that slightly more legible? What do you guys think? I think we can go a little bigger. Let's bring it up a little bit more, I think. We're in the Dadvocate live stream workshop session over here. Don't mind me. This might be too big. That's what she said. Sorry. Where am I? I love that everybody is so hyped. There we go. Look how good that looks. Hey, yo. Maybe it's just me, but okay. Look, I'm legally blind. So a lot of this chat box renovation, it's for me. Anyone who is interested and curious, see what happens when you ask a question or exclaim something with an exclamation mark. I know. Try not to be too impressed here. I'm a little too proud. Look! Exclamation points next to the chat box helps me see when people are excited. If someone asks a question. Miles, you good? Hey, I don't know what happens if you do. Oh, look, there's even a question mark with an exclamation point. This new updated chat box has truly got it all. We love to see it. Doggy's good. Shamer's bad. I mean, that really could go on a Dadvocate t-shirt. That summarizes so much of what we do here. Aw, thank you guys. The chat be so kind. Miles is a barky boy. He is this and all days, quite truly. But all right. All right. It's 11 o'clock, so listen. Welcome back to another Dadvocate Live. If you are watching this later than the live time and you already know the like housekeeping banter intro that I usually give, feel free to just hit that fast forward 30 seconds button a couple times if you want to get straight into the topics. If you're here right now, you cannot do that. You are trapped right here and now. But on this channel, we try to keep this an audio-only podcast, well, audio-only friendly I should say. Podcast like live stream. Meaning, while we do react to visual cues, I will do my best to verbally describe everything moving forward so that you can enjoy this stream without staring at your screen. So if you are going for a walk, lifting weights at the gym, driving in your car, you should still be able to enjoy this stream to the fullest. If you can't sit and watch 2 to 3 hours straight of a stream, by all means, it'll be saved in your library. If you want to walk away and revisit it later, Lord knows I will nurse a 4-hour long YouTube video for a week straight. That's okay. All right, hold on. A mochi hair has graced my face. That is a thing that will happen occasionally. Nothing you can really do about it. Another thing is, if you don't like live streams, all of these segments will get chopped down by either myself or my editor into 15 to 25 minute segments that you can enjoy later. If you are a Patreon or a YouTube member, shout out, you guys are biggest sponsors of the channel. You can even get those segments in early access form. So just saying, a little Benny of joining. They are our biggest sponsors of this live stream. And like I said a million times, this is a live stream, so take advantage of the chat. I just renovated her. She looks beautiful. We've got super chats if you really, really want to get my attention. YouTube does a great job of itemizing them very boldly so that even though there's been a ton of chats, you might think I missed it. No, I can just scroll up and easily see that Chaos Shadow is our first super chat of the day. Thank you, Chaos Shadow. Says, just get a theme song already. Yeah, you know what? I've been thinking about using my outro music as an intro. I have been really thinking about it. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but it's up there on my list. I know. Intro music, I agree. We'll add that. Anyway, I think that's about all the housekeeping we need to do. Let's get right into today's theme of the stream, which is the way that we are all willing to seemingly compromise our morals and integrity for tall men. The phenomenon of tall man privilege. Before we even get into it, is there anybody who already has a strong opinion on this topic? Do we have any tall men in the chat who are like, I have definitely noticed a benefit? Any tall men who are like, you've got it wrong, there's actually a ton of negatives, we're like Great Danes, our joints hurt all the time, everybody expects us to just do things for them, it's terrible? Are you a short king who has strong feelings? Like, yes, tall men definitely receive privileges. Or are you like, no, I am far more privileged than a tall man? Are you somewhere in between and have just never noticed either way? Hold on, what did you just say, babe? Oh, okay. My husband, who's, if you don't mind me saying, I would say you're like on the average height scale.
All right.
Uh-oh. We get some TJ. Early morning TJ. Oh, yeah.
So I'm in America, I'm below average height because I think America, our average height is what, like 5'9", 5'10"? Or actually, no, I am exactly average height if it's 5'9". But I think it's 5'10" because we're slightly taller here. But I think worldwide average, I'm above. I think it's worldwide, it's like 5'5", 5'6". But anyway, I guess there's both a tall and a short privilege depending on where you look. Like if you're trying to date somebody who is about your height or close to your height, you might experience some problems as opposed to a tall guy. But it's also like, in terms of like, I don't know, abilities. Like I remember in college, like all of my tall friends were, I was like, hey man, I'm always going to ask you to reach those tall things if you don't mind. And it's sure, as long as you don't mind me asking you to reach all the things down below, because it's hard to bend down that far. And I said, bet. And that was like, that was our agreement.
That's so funny. I mean, first of all, if you guys don't know, I'm 4'11", so TJ's still like almost a full foot taller than me. You know what I mean? So like, all skyscrapers look the same to us short people. But that's funny. I I usually say the same thing. Like, I might ask you to help me reach something, but if you drop the coins out of your pocket, I'll be the first one to pick them up for you, you know? Like, we can help each other, you know? We really can. I'm reading some of your opinions right now. Some of you are saying 6'2", no advantage whatsoever. Some of you are saying you're painfully average, not short or tall. Oh, to be 6 foot tall, I bet the air is cleaner. That's funny.
Actually, they're closer to the pollution up there, guys.
Oh, you're closer to the pollution. Oh, that's unfortunate. You just like it subtly radioactively damaging yourself. Quantum Fantasy says my back hurts. Yes. TJ coming to join us. He'll be popping in here and there, I believe. He's a chorin. He's a chorin man right now, you know. So he'll be here and there, hither and thither. Jordan Peterson, the American one, says, just say no to bards. I'm going to try to stay on subject despite you baiting me with a strong argument.
I understand that you clearly have been crossed by a charlatan.
Here he come. He's coming.
But any bard worth his lute strings always has people asking for one more song.
And that's true. They do be asking for one more song from TJ. They really do. I am height challenged. That's true. It can be a struggle sometimes, but you know, I kind of like being a hobbit. It's pretty fun. So listen, I say we just jump right into it. If you were indifferent before or you had strong feelings before, I'm curious to hear if your opinion changes after we go through some videos, go through some articles regarding the topic of tall male privilege. And to be clear, this does not survive the gender swap. Okay? It does not. All right, there is no tall girl privilege at all. Unfortunately, it does not survive the gender swap. This is specific to men, actually. The Sax Man 23, thank you for the super chat, says, I prefer the term vertically impaired. I feel like I've heard that one, and I was like trying to scan my brain for what the other one was. Thank you for reminding me of that. Tawodro, so good to see you. Thank you for the generous 5, by the way. Women who fetishize tall guys have daddy issues. Case in point, my mom. Still haven't spoken to her since Christmas. Very proud of you, by the way. I feel the same way of you saying that you haven't spoken to your mom since Christmas as I do when like my friends are like 1 year sober. I'm like, let's go. Keep up the good work. You know what I mean? But I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to start bringing that up later when it comes to tall male privilege. Is there's also the other side of that coin, which is the fetishization of tall men. We'll get into that for sure. American Jordan Peterson, thank you for another one. Says cleric for life, TJ. You know, we do need the clerics. Not that we don't need the bards, but we do appreciate your sacrifice out here. And speaking of D&D, we've got a dono from Roll for Chaos. I played a necromancer bard, and she was adorable. Aw, I can just see her carrying around her little dead things and bringing them back to life.
That's the definition of death metal.
So, what's the Superman song?
I'm a punk rocker. Punk rocker.
I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. But they have a term for tall women, dommy mommy. I know there is some fetishization for tall women, I would say. The sudden desire to be stepped on. Is that... Sorry, I am just covered in mochi hair. I'm so sorry. These are like the pros and cons to starting my stream with an extremely furry fat cat. Like, audio only crew, be happy that you don't have to see me like constantly like, oh God, I've been tarred and feathered of my own volition. But it's worth it. Honestly, I regret nothing. Mochi is so cute, dude. Chaos Shadow says, where's my paladin love? You know what? Superman is a paladin, and I love Superman. So there. It's right there. Yeah, I will say this too. The studies show that I believe it was close to like 80 to 90% of men said that they do not care if a woman is taller than them. So, and when it comes to this specific issue on a does it survive the gender swap level, the two are not even close. Like, men do not care about height in even remotely the same fashion that women do. This is a women specific thing when it pertains to men and their response to men, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. But on to our very first. I'm gonna have to shrinky dink the chat box down here. Let me just. Okay, there we go. Anyway, our first video. Now, to be fair, from this angle, you wouldn't know that this guy is tall unless you looked at his other videos, but you can also kind of tell. And there's a lot to be said for the fact that, like, look, I'm not gonna, like, absolutely glaze the guy, but he fits the, like, conventionally attractive portfolio. And this isn't usually super necessary when it comes to reacting to someone's take. But in this specific situation, I feel that it is, because this might not be gender swap appropriate, but I don't know what the right term for it is. Maybe like Uggo swap territory. Like, does this survive the Uggo swap? Like, could someone who's not conventionally attractive get away with having this same take? Okay, so before he starts talking, the text on screen reads, "There's no such thing as a gold digger." First of all, I already know some of y'all are rolling, just pissed off already. I know some of you guys are like, what do you mean? Like, have you ever existed in the world? Like, there are people who literally self-identify as gold diggers. What do you mean? Anyway, the rest of it goes on to say, women are naturally expensive, so pick one in your price range and shut up. I'll let bro finish.
Such thing as a gold digger. Women are naturally expensive, so pick one in your price range and shut up. Hair, nails, skincare, clothes, makeup, none of that is free. Even that girl that you think's low maintenance, the one that's natural, you must have never had a girlfriend before, because that natural girl, she's rocking a $200 effortless look, okay? That's just the base model. You want the leather seats and the sunroof, that's gonna cost you, okay? So pick one in your price range and shut up. You don't walk into a luxury car dealership and yell at the salesman because the car is more than you can afford. You get a Corolla and you mind your business, right? If she's out of your budget, that's not her being a gold digger. That's you shopping in the wrong aisle. You can't complain that champagne costs too much when you only brought beer money, okay? Stop complaining and just date within your means. That's what I do, okay? There's someone for everyone. Stop crying about women wanting too much and go find someone whose idea of a fancy night out is Buffalo Wild Wings. They're out there. I grew up with them. These are my people. But I'm from Jersey. I'm not from Monte Carlo, and that's okay. There's no such thing as a gold digger. Women are naturally expensive.
Okay, so that's the video. I fear, my friends, that this is not satire. Perhaps, you know, presented as more of a bit, as more of perhaps like almost like a stand-up routine. But I do have feelings about this. Okay, so my first thought when it comes to just pick a girl in your price range. The problem with that is that a lot of women these days are overinflating their price range. And this is not like a woman bashing thing. I think that everybody does this, and you can see it within the market, right? Like he's talking about, you know, comparing women to cars, which I thought that that was like a misogynistic, not okay thing to do. I thought that like that was one of those hair trigger, like you're gonna get in a fight things. Like if you say that in front of a woman, it's equivalent to like letting her know that she's getting fat. Like you just don't hit that button, but apparently it's okay for this guy. We'll see from the comments that it has been accepted by the female zeitgeist, apparently. But it's like we've all seen people overprice the shit out of anything, be it cars, perfume, clothing, anything. Anybody has the ability and will exploit the ability to overprice, overvalue anything. Themselves, things they're trying to market. So that's, you know, obviously one issue that I have with this, but of course it gets more wild when we check out the comments section, which I shall now be revealing to you guys, okay? I don't know what this comment really means. That natural girl wants a 100-acre farm and lots of kids and chickens. Oh, okay, I get what she's trying to say. Is like even the girls who look the most natural still end up being expensive, which is a fair take. Definitely not an incorrect take there. But of course we get into why aren't there more of you? Because you told men to stop comparing women to vehicles. First of all, because you told them to stop. So interesting that we're walking that back collectively. And I say collectively because this does have over 5,000 likes. I feel like that's pretty significant. Not the totality of all women or anything. Hold on, let me catch up on super chats because I've realized that, like, wow, y'all are rolling in here with these super chats. Though the Sax Man, thank you for another one. What about short girl privilege? We could get into that in post theme of the stream. If you guys want to talk, what would short girl privilege be? Like, I guess I'm easier to pick up in like a rescue situation, you know? Like it's easier to like save me if you need to like pull me or something. But also I'm very kidnappable. Extremely kidnappable. Okay? I got this. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go a little off trail here. I got this new running vest for my distance running, and it comes with the most pathetic R-word whistle I've ever seen. It's like the weakest little tear. And I've never laughed at the thought of getting kidnapped more. Like, I would be cracking up while getting, like, wrestled into a vehicle. I'd be like, how funny is this? No one's coming to save me. Oh, I'm totally dying. I would be laughing hysterically the whole time that I'm just being stuffed into that trunk. Oh my god. Okay, let me catch him on the super chats. Chaos Shadow says, wait, I already read that one, so I'm glad I missed another one in betweens to that. I love that you got all the D&D super chats still coming in. Well, Will Honorless says human fighter rep. We need just the absolute brawler. I love it. I played as one in Skyrim. Incredibly effective. Chaos Shadow, people who say there's no such thing as a gold digger are automatically someone I won't even acknowledge unless they try to attack me. You are like, our interaction is on an aggro induced fight scenario only. Like, that's about it. Yeah, I don't know what the benefit is to claiming there's no such thing as a gold digger. It's really like up there with men trying to claim like there's no such thing as freeloading men. Like, I beg your finest pardon. Vianney says, in general, women want men who are taller than them. In the same way, men want women who are thinner than them. Not always. Not always. I have now like been in the athletic community, like athletic fitness community long enough to know that the trope of like super muscular jacked dude with not interested in training husky girl is incredibly popular. Incredibly popular. That might not be your type, so it might be harder to understand. But like, yeah, not always. There is definitely like someone for everyone. Arceon, thank you for the 5, says, so women are for sale. That's what I'm saying. Like, it does not survive the Uggo swap. I'm sorry, it's just the funniest name I could give it. And beauty is subjective, so like, you know, but just even a regular, more regular ass looking dude, I think would be quickly and steadfastly called out. We'll do another scroll through in a minute here just to make sure that he's not attacked and burned at the stake, but I don't know. Twotros with another one. Thank you so much. This fails the Uggo test. If he was ugly, this would be called objectification. This guy reminds me of the simp cop my mom dated, whose jaw I broke. Well, ACAB gang, that's a point for your house, I guess. I know you guys are like, yay. And then like the pro cop gang is like, side eye to Wodros. Now we're divided. ADHD Detonator, aka Phil. You're either the bard or not the main character. TJ, did you by any chance hear that one? Ah, thank God. Oh, thank God. And then the one last one before we get back to the comment section on this one from ZoMG. Membership chats doesn't show up in Restream. Sorry, they are. Is that what happens when they're green? I always wondered why they were green. Hold on. Phil also says, TJ, as a fellow bard, you have my loot. Unite. Do they show up separate on the chat? Zomg says, not allowed to say that. Men get no such grace. Okay, I think I caught up on the member chats. All right. Let's keep checking out these chats, though, real quick. Oop, I don't need to report that. Oh my God, I'm not trying to be that much of a Karen about it. Jeez Louise. I'm natural, but my hiking gear isn't. I will say this aspect of it, interestingly, does survive the gender swap test, but I don't know if like the social aspect of it does. So like, when I first presented this video to TJ, his reaction was like, well, yeah, every one is expensive. Like, life is expensive. Like, if you're existing and taking up resources, yeah, you're gonna be expensive. So like, men, you could argue it's expensive to be a man as well. You know, you going to the doctor, any of their hobby equipment, vehicles, things like that. But whether or not people care, I'm not sure that that's necessarily equivalent in the gender swap test. And then now that women, at least about 44,000 or 4,400 of them, are saying, quoting him on the, you don't walk into a luxury car dealership and yell at the salesman because the car is more than you can afford. Right, but I think that if you walked into a used car dealership and they were trying to price a used Honda for the same price as like a brand new Ford F-150, then you would probably have the right to yell at the salesman. Do you see what I'm saying here? Like, what's really weird about this entire discourse is how counterintuitive it actually is to the entire idea of feminism. Let's while we're being on the exact opposite of our typical selves, let's just take men out of feminism entirely and focus on the only women part. Now, I often say I like to believe in the original form of feminism, which was including everybody and make sure that we all have equitable opportunities for things, right? But let's just ignore the men part and only focus on the women. The point is that we all are equal, right? No matter how much wealth we have, no matter what normalities or disfigurements we're born with, and no matter how our brains work or how we're able to present ourselves, whether we have full ability of our bodies or disabilities. And yet, now, because a conventionally attractive tall man sat in his car and said it's okay for women to be priced out differently as you would a vehicle, now we're all on board with it. That feels a bit uncomfy, right? Like, and who is the one valuing these vehicles? Who is the ultimate determiner? Are we now like on board with things like apps that rate women? Because there's got to be a Kelly Blue Book if women are going to be sold like vehicles, right? There's got to be like a Kelly Blue Book where we post the women and then have the collective society appraise them.
That's red pill content. That's what red pill content is. That's what red pill content is.
And yet it's women in this comment section being like, go off,
okay,
Poppy.
Dude, it's fine. Look at this. Literally just apply the same, like, I'm sorry, but until he got, like, really popular, like, clearly Andrew Tate was at least manipulating people into fucking him and having sex with him enough to have a couple kids and fuck whoever it was. The one,
Wait, did he actually pork Bonnie Blue?
Oh, I know you said that she was flirting with him.
Yeah, they did an interview.
But it's like, my thing is like, yeah, if he's a conventionally, like, it's, the joke's literally in K-pop Demon Hunters. Like demonstrably dangerous and toxic people. But it's like, they're literally like, like they're blinded by it. It's like the hormones take over. And it's like, men can't act like we haven't for time eternum been like, wow, pretty girl, you can do whatever you want. And it's like,
booga booga.
Yeah, booga booga. Like, you got, like, let's not pretend like we aren't above this. They're just more publicly stooping to our level. A level that they have done as much as men, but not as publicly until recently. And it's like, but nobody's calling them out, and it's just like, nobody's calling these guys out. And then eventually someone's going to be like you, and enough people are going to start stacking up and be like, hey, actually, this sounds exactly like red pill content. So maybe we should let's go back, let's backtrack and figure out where we went down this path. And it's like, it's one of those things where he might even just be one of those, like, this guy looks like Mariano from Encanto. It's with his hair parted in the middle. I just have so much love inside. And it's like, just that he might be one of those guys where it's like, he thinks he's not being offensive, and he's like, yeah, you know, I want like a Honda Civic and not like the Lamborghini. And it's like, oh, Frankie.
I admit, I don't think that he meant
he doesn't look like
produce red
like
pill content.
He looks like a Labrador Retriever from Brooklyn. Like, he looks like, hey, I'm just saying, I want a Honda Civic. I don't want a Lamborghini.
I think that he was trying to appeal to women, actually. Like, I think that he was, in his own way, trying to be feminist.
That's what I'm saying, is like, he's not, the intention here, clearly the person, and that's where people are like, well, how can you be upset this person and not this person? It's like, the intention, if they clearly meant it as like, he just, the insight check just went, he not won that, but he thought he served, and it's like, and that's fine, and you can generally tell, like, you know what, this is an innocent course correction, and that might be one why they're being a little more kinder to him, on top of the tall, handsome guyness of it. You know, but if they come off and it's just dripping with misogyny, I'm sure they're going to be like, like, we're going to crucify you on the internet. So part of it's also tone and intention.
Yeah, basically, and I will get to these super chats. Basically, he ended up doing the same Ouroboros eating its own tail loop that I call out so much on this channel, where he basically was like trying to be a feminist, but then like kept going too far and ended up eating his own tail and getting to the point where like he was like, I'm going to be so feminist that I'm going to no longer hold any women accountable for anything by saying there's no such thing as a gold digger. And then like accidentally also went back to his old ways by going too far in a circle.
Right.
When it came to the car analogy.
And like I've
And the
actually...
women are loving it because they're also part of the Ouroboros eating its own tail loop frequently. And they're also like, yes, we love that you're validating that we're expensive and that men need to invest in us financially, that we're willing to look past the car analogy. As long as us being paid is involved, you can compare us to a car.
Right.
Okay. Pajamies says, thank you for that username. Lauren! Do you game with your fans? Does TJ? If so, I would love to game with either / both of you. I'm on console. Are you? If so, I'll send you my gamer tag. Not trying to be creepy, just want friends. So, TJ has, in some cases, this is very fortunate, a small audience on Sundays at 7 o'clock on his YouTube.
I would love if the audience is
stream.
bigger. I just can't respond to your chats.
Yes.
Please, by all means, watch us, subscribe.
You can come hang out. They do D&D. If you join the Patreon, we do a bit more gaming on there. I don't do much gaming on my main channel, but actually I was just about to game with everybody and have like my first response to the remastered Shivering Isles, which is one of my favorite expansion packs ever. And I've literally been holding off playing it to play with you guys. So we'll do that later after this stream. Another good reason to do Patreon, which by the way, there is a sale. All membership tiers are 25% off with code TRIPOD. Ayo.
Heyo.
But yeah, not that you have to pay for friendship. You can also just come hang out in like the chats and stuff. Good odds.
Thank you.
But...
I see there's plenty of Bard support. I liked the one you're either a Bard or not the main character.
Oh no, this community would not support total Bard slander. Z Corp Alpha. Awesome, a mouthful. Thank you for the generous 10. Says I am 6'5".
I think it's
I get many offers. For, what did I say?
You said Z Corp Alpha. I think it's Z Corp Alpha.
You're probably right.
I could be wrong.
I just had friendship on the brain, so I turned it into Palpha. You get many offers from the ladies. Hey.
There's a named Palfa out there who's like, aw.
Pelf. All right, Chaos Shadow says, that's the team I could get behind. None of this one team is superior nonsense. That's what we try to do on this channel. Out here, we need each other. Lacey Shalom says, pretty privilege goes both ways. Yes. Sure does. Sure does.
That was actually Lacey S. Hallam. I know, I'm sorry.
Ooh, why are you on Tomodro says, I'm with TJ. Guy looks like a performative male. Ooh, Tomodro, you didn't catch my stream calling out like,
that's my
term.
thing, though, is I think he's like, because sometimes I think the performative part of it for some dudes especially is like the fake it till you make it. Like, dude, I might not understand it, but like, eventually if I repeat it, I'm going to get it, or someone's going to say it the right way, and I'm going to get it. I know this is the right thing, I just don't understand how 2 + 2 = 4 in this situation. But I'm going to keep going because I trust the science.
Okay.
I don't know why I decided this guy is Italian and from Brooklyn, but...
All right. Now this next comment seems like a skill issue to me, and I'm glad you're here, babe. She says, natural until you find out she's into gardening. Man, my husband is into gardening. It's one of the hottest, most attractive things about him. Our tomatoes right now look
natural
gorgeous.
Until you find out. What's wrong with... Is she's into gardening? What's wrong with that?
Well, my issue is how in the world are you making gardening so expensive? Like, TJ has successfully made vegetable gardens year after year, so I can just go out and make salad for myself from the front yard.
It's so, yeah, it's...
And a lot of them just replant themselves. Like,
yeah, like,
a ton of them will just replant themselves.
I'd say, like, you can get rare... People saying rare flowers, but it's, like, a lot of times... like, okay... There might be people who do, like, vanity,
Trees can be expensive.
They're a one-time purchase! One and done!
I'm like, well, you need to learn how to be a more frugal
It's like if
gardener,
they're gardening
man.
and like maybe their entire garden is filled with like tropical out of region
Yeah, like Frederick
plants.
Meyer garden ass
Yeah,
orchid
dude, like,
garden
yeah,
in the
yeah,
front.
it's gonna be fucking crazy if every year you're doing landscaping, but generally speaking, you should have at least a nice chunk of your garden as native plants to the state or province or region or whatever you're in.
Natives are the best pollinators.
They're the best pollinators. They take less water than plants that are not from the same area because they're used to what it needs.
I told you
and you
guys
don't
to
need to
gardening.
replant them. It's the best part. Like I have a section where the vegetables go, and then we're working on landscaping that I'm gonna do because my body's not going out on me yet, and we have a teenager who will force to help. But it's like
I can help if I like see the game plan. I don't have the green thumb. I don't.
Anyway, I came in to say bye because I'm going to chore, but I got distracted by this guy. This guy looks like he might not say like insight. His wisdom score might not be the tallest, but you know what? If a fight happens, he's gonna show up behind him and just be like, "Hey, what's the problem here?"
And all he's gonna have to do is say, "Please stop." Too.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of my things.
That's part of tall privilege.
I had two tall friends in our theater department, and we would often host parties at our house, and I would look at them and go, "Hey, if anything happens, like, I'm going to confront them. I just need you to step up."
Stand behind
That's
them
literally
all.
what I said. I looked at Ken and Eric, and I said, "I just need you to." I said, "I'm going to be the loudmouth. I will take anything coming my way. I just need you to literally stand behind me while I say this."
So funny.
That's it. We had a strict no asshole policy at the house. Don't be a jerk. That was the one rule at a party.
You're allowed to have one. You're not allowed to be one.
Yeah.
Unless it's really funny. Zomg very appropriately says, TJ saving names again. Lord knows you would know. Dissident, so good to see you. I love that you gave a 3. No one ever gives 3s. That stands out to me. Dude has survivorship bias. Survivorship bias, also known as survivor bias, is a cognitive bias that occurs when you focus only on successful individuals or entities, the survivors in a group, and overlook those that failed or were eliminated, non-survivors. This leads to a skewed and often overly optimistic view of a situation, making success appear more likely than it actually is. Here's why it matters: distorted reality, misguided decisions, overly optimistic outlook. You just taught me a thing, Dissident. I would have, if I heard that term, I would have just like assumed that it was literally only related to war, which it often is. But because of the context of you using it here, I was like, it's got to mean something different. And sure enough, I might have to add that to my regular vernacular, actually, because that does end up applying when it comes to logical fallacies very often. Lacey S. Hallam. I'm sorry, now I have to. Thank you for another 5. TJ just wanted to chat. Lauren was right. No, I'm not Jewish. My parents just wanted to be special. It means peace of God go with you. No, that's okay. There are so many pretty Jewish names, like a couple of which I truly did like consider when naming my baby, but I was like, I can't because I'm not like Jewish like that, you know? Miles, go on. Go on, boy. Go on. Go. Go on. He must need to go outside. I'm sorry. He is just refusing. Usually he'll at least do it after like the 3rd or 4th time, but he has got wild hair up his booty. Or one of the dogs outside. I'll be right back. Give me just a second, y'all. All right. Come here, you big dog. Yep, this is definitely Parker, how about you? What'd you like? You're chilling? All right. A day in the life. Sometimes you just gotta let the dogs out. So Omji says, doesn't get more natural than that, though, no? Now I don't even know what that was in reference to. We're so far past. This is the bad part about reading super chats late, though. J.A. Major, the bookish, says no more evidence of male pretty privilege is necessary than the whole Wade Wilson case debacle. I almost brought that up today. I almost worked it into today's tall male privilege itinerary, but honestly, that case actually makes me so mad, and I don't know if I should do that to my cortisol levels today. I did notice it just showed up on like my TV recommended for you. Someone has already made a documentary on the Wade Wilson trial, and I'm like, kind of want to watch that, but I don't want to like get too stressed out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically this dude with the ugliest face tattoos I've ever seen in my life, who viciously took the lives of multiple women in extraordinarily cruel and inhumane, disgusting ways, which like most murder is, I would say, but the way he bragged about it was awful. And yet he's a very tall, if he didn't have the face tattoos, would have been probably a conventionally attractive male, and women love him. It's the Chris Watts thing all over again. It's Ted Bundy all over again, and this probably does deserve its own section during this stream as we talk about tall male privilege. Is in these cases, it didn't do much to get them off the hook of their convictions, but a lot of them have been receiving so much love and adoration in mail and letters. And it's said that they'll even receive like lewd, less vicious photographs from women. Maybe that's not the peak idea of the privilege a man could receive, but obviously not every man in prison is receiving such treatment. So there's a lot to be said for the privileges that men are receiving when they are tall, and especially when they are tall and conventionally attractive by most people's standards. I love Henry says he looks like the guy from Tangled. Good call out. Good call out. Absolutely true, though. Quantum Fantasy says, my contribution to the Tripod Dice Fund. Now he'll think of me every Sunday, even when I'm too busy to chat. He can always use more dice, too, because somehow they're always getting out of the dice bowl. And it was funny. I the other day, I was walking around the house, and I kept hearing dice rolling. And I was like, no one's home? Like, am I being haunted right now? But nope, it's just one of the cats found one and was just batting it around. I took a video, sent it to TJ at work. All right, I'm almost caught up on super chats, and then we'll read a couple more chats from this one and then move on to my next example, read a bit of an article. I'm going to let you guys pick a couple things as we move on through the stream. Zomji says, they like quote-unquote natural until they say they're into gardening. Like, isn't gardening pretty natural? Or have I misunderstood history? I'm just still caught up on the, like, gardening being this, like, mega expensive thing. I think gardeners haven't heard of other hobbies, apparently. Dissonant says another term, identitarian opportunism. You're putting me on to some things today. Wow, identitarian opportunism. And yeah, that one I know exactly what it means just by reading it too. Like I can, it's like up there with virtue signaling. No, I get what that one means. Twodros, do women not think we can see the double standard? It always impresses me how dumb people think we are. But to be fair, Americans are pretty dumb, so I get why they think that. So for this next example, in this one, we see a woman being tattooed on her hip, and the text overlay reads, POV, you surprise your boyfriend of 2 months with a tattoo of his name. Now she's showing him the tattoo. He kisses it. He seems to approve. And of note, when he stands up, it is quite clear that he is like double her height. We're going to read the comments as soon as I let Miles in. He's letting me know that he is done being outside now. Why, hello, sir. Okay, thanks for giving me a few extra seconds, everybody. I just had to fill up his water dish. I always tell you guys, I love you, but I love my dogs more, and I will not be apologizing. So, I mean, yeah, that's about the video, is just this. He takes a picture of it. She's like jumping up and down. They kiss and cuddle. Let's get to these comments, because I know y'all are just dying to see. Now, first of all, before we get to the comments, I think we can all agree that when we first saw surprising my boyfriend of 2 months, not even half of the seasons of a full calendar year that you have known each other, very likely have never seen each other like extremely ill, drunk, gone through like any major hardships, and you're tattooing his name on your ass, I think we can all probably collectively agree that's not the greatest decision. Maybe a bit impulsive, maybe a bit reckless. You know, we might be rushing into things a bit, right? Maybe we don't fully agree with this decision. Well, this is why we check the comments section, because that's always an interesting read when it comes to these kinds of situations. With 336,000 likes, I like how we all came to a unanimous agreement after he stood up. Meaning that over 300,000 women were originally like, ooh, getting your boyfriend's name tattooed on your ass after only 2 months. Girly, no. All agreed, though, that, oh, unless he's like 7 feet tall. If he's that tall, do whatever you want. Wear a crown of thorns for him. Like, go into a cage at night and sleep for 12 hours like a dog for him, right? Like, sign over any inheritance you ever receive in your life to him. Like, of course, you do anything for a tall man. 300,000 of you? Dare I open the replies? We literally ain't shit. He stood up and kept going. Guilty as charged. Nope, he had me at the kiss. Like immediately the same time. Girl, same. We're all the same. Ha ha ha. This next comment with 229,000 likes. Why would... Oh, all right. We understand, girl. You're forgiven. 45,000 likes. What's his name? I will also be getting it tattooed. 60,000 likes. Girl, what the Understandable. Have a nice day. 22,000 likes. A normal one. A normal one. Finally, you scroll enough and you get people starting to figure it out. Notice, though, this is a man's comment amidst the hundreds of thousands of women approving of this behavior. We finally get a man saying, y'all men notice how if you're hot enough, nothing else matters? Women, ladies, girls. That's what you want to teach men? I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. Put your palm right here. I'll put my hand over yours. If we teach men that if they're hot enough, they can do anything they want, we are being 100% complicit in making ourselves a slave to men. And then we can't complain about the patriarchy. Does that make sense? Please? Oh my God. What am I seeing? What I am watching, we women as a species use self-destruct. Just using the self-destruct button in real time. Oh, Lord, this one's been rough. I'm going to read a couple more of these. Why would you... Never mind. Good job, sis. What took you so long? More of the same. I was about to say something and then I respectfully shut up. Why the heck? Oh, I get it. I'm not gonna read this, but if you're not audio only, same. Oh, thank God Miss Khan is pointing this out. This comment reads, quote, women don't care about looks. Women in the comments. And what's interesting about the tall male privilege phenomenon specifically is that looks are not even like secondary or tertiary at that point. Like you don't even have to like really be that attractive as long as you're extremely tall. The rest almost doesn't matter. Like in this video, I feel like we didn't even really get a very clear view of the guy's face. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. The face card looks like pretty average, I would say. Face card is just like a regular dude, right? But tall, so here's all my money, I guess. Let me read some of these super chats. Twodros, I am reading to Wodros's comment. This is coming from a member of the Black community. This is not me saying this myself. The Black community is full of this kind of mindset. This is why there's so many emotionally pretty boys running around raised by shallow women. That is your opinion. I do not have the melanin to make comments about the Black community, but you donated, so I decided to read your comment out loud. Discuss amongst yourselves. Will Honorless says, forget the nice talk. They need the spray bottle. Get it together. Is it because women don't exactly have post-nut clarity? Is that why, like, we're not figuring it out? Is that where the, like, blip in the system is coming in where we're like not connecting the dots here and we're just existing in a hypocritical state. All of these videos led me to want to show you guys this article that I feel like is pretty relevant. I found this posted by a website called Next Gen Men, and it reads, oh shoot, I did the thing where I made the chat box too big again. I'll fix that later. Boo. And I'll move this over here. It reads, height discrimination and gender bias unveiling the impact on social and professional lives. Hold on, let me read these real quick. Samantha brings up a good point and says, what if she's just super short? Oftentimes it's a combination of both. Like, the man is probably pretty tall and she's probably pretty short, which adds on to this. Shalda the Prinny, if I was 10 feet, I'd be the worst and be loved anyway. I feel like 10 feet is a bit too much, I fear. That one's a bit much. I should fix that later. She fixes it now. Later is in 1 second from when I started that sentence. So this reads, and thank you to Alex Verutas and Veronica Alik for this article. Quote, men under 6 feet need not apply. As someone over 6 feet tall, you would think I wouldn't have an issue seeing this every time I go onto dating apps. But as someone who doesn't have a luxurious travel photo, a prestigious job, and who is terrified at the idea of posing for a shirtless photo, I feel like we all lose when we pin someone's value on a single characteristic or trait. When I say we all lose, I mean the people that are discriminating too. And before we go on, I just want to say this was definitely something that I've been talking to my husband about recently, is how these ridiculous superficial standards are shooting us in our own feet when it comes to limiting our dating pool with this kind of stuff. I feel like women are harming each other with these ridiculous things of like, oh, your man ain't shit if he's not making 6 figures. Oh, your man ain't shit if he's under 6 feet tall. Oh, your man ain't shit if he's not buying you flowers every week. And like, it's hard to ignore, you know, like I feel like a lot of the people that women want to impress the most is other women. So when other women are telling you like the man you chose is not good enough, I'm sure men can relate in a lot of ways, you know? Dr. 2354 says, gee, and people wonder why 5'3" men like myself think we are invisible. Yeah, someone brought up Ho Math recently. The reason that creator got his name is because he basically creates like diagrams and charts and things like that describing the modern dating market. And when he puts like men who are at like a 4 or below in the 1 to 10 attractiveness scale as invisible. Man, I think a lot of men can relate to that, though, unfortunately. Consider online dating. According to a former product manager at Bumble, the majority of women on the app set the minimum height of men they'll match with at 6 feet tall, limiting them to 15% of the population. That's the majority of women on the app are right off the bat buckling themselves in the kneecaps at dating and giving themselves an only 15% success margin because they won't deal with a 5'9" king. That's pretty freaking telling. And of course, people will argue, well, that's just Bumble. That's not a direct reflection of the totality of women who are dating, but it's still, that's significant, guys. Cash Shadow says, somewhere out there, I'm a closeted racist to a girl because I joked about their favorite pollen on Born Ditto just be. I think voice to chat failed you, my friend. I think I had a stroke reading that. Pollen on Born Haditto just because you sits pink. Chaos Shadow, you just completely broke my brain right there. I'm like, am I having a seizure on camera? Do my mods need to step in? Oh no. But something about a Pokemon reference gone wrong is what that was. Anyway, thank you for the dono cash. I am so sorry for completely not being able to translate that one. What about their sense of humor, caregiving ability, or communication skills? These are arguably more foundational for long-lasting relationships. And such a great point too, right? Like, okay, so you get your 15% of the population, but how many of those have all of the rest of the qualities that you're looking for? Because of course the being tall thing is going to get old after a while if he never cleans up after himself, or has no drive or motivations, or is overly clingy or verbally abusive. Like, obviously the being tall thing is only going to get you so far, and now you've only limited yourself to 15% of these people. I would like to hope that, most men already have marriageable qualities, but let's be honest, I don't think most people are ready for marriage. I really don't. I think it definitely takes a lot of time. These are arguable. Oh yeah, I read that part. These arbitrary dating criteria limit the likelihood that a user might meet someone compatible on the app. Why impose such a limit? This is a trend that extends far beyond dating, too. We know there's a racialized and gendered pay gap in the professional world, where women continue to earn less than men and women of color earn less than their white female counterparts. Some of you guys might disagree on these stats. I know the wage gap thing has been long argued to be debunked, but going on. Did you know there is also a professional impact of height on earnings? One study suggests that people over 6 feet tall can earn over 166,000 more over the course of 30 years than someone who is 5 foot 5 inches. There's discrimination against short people in hiring and promotion, too. This is partly because of the myth of tallness, where we collectively associate a bunch of culturally valued traits with height. Tall people are seen as more successful, wealthy, competent, capable leaders, and desirable partners. This in turn can create patterns of self-fulfilling prophecy. You'll notice that the traits associated with tallness, competence, wealth, status, leadership, are also traits we associate with masculinity. So what is the association between patriarchal gender norms and height in our culture? So basically this goes on to say, evolutionarily, height has been used to establish dominance, such as with gorillas, but the majority of its social significance has been aesthetically crafted, essentially. Like, this article basically ends up saying in a TLDR reductive sort of way that we just made this shit up. Similar to, like, it's our boogeyman, similarly. Like, we just made up the illusion that we need men to be 6 feet tall. I mean, really, there's a lot of benefits, actually, of men not being that tall. They consume less, they take up less space, they're easier to keep up with on a walk. Right? Like, there are arguably some benefits, but it's ridiculous, and unfortunately, I'm not sure how to sell women collectively on the idea that they don't need this. I think that what's going to happen is there's just going to be kind of a Darwinism of it all. I think that the women who socially convince each other of these beyond unnecessary keeping up with the Joneses like standards for themselves are just going to kind of get weeded out of the evolutionary pool. And a lot of people are like, I'm completely fine dying without a lineage with my wine and cats. You don't need to, for sure. Absolutely. You know what I mean? You can still live a full life impacting people positively and making great changes and accomplishing major things without ever getting married or having kids. Absolutely. It's just, I think the people that do end up continuing on their lineages and things like that are going to be the people who prioritize more longer lasting values, such as, is this person loyal? Is this person a hard worker? Is this person adaptable? Right? I feel like those kinds of people who value those qualities and are taught to value those qualities are probably going to have longer lasting relationships. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents, though. You guys tell me what you think. Do you think that there actually is a fair value in wanting a tall partner? Do you think that there's really nothing wrong with this, right? Like, some people say, hey, I might be limiting myself to one of the smallest margins of the population, but I don't care. I will keep going until I find that 1% of the population who is my person and is right for me. Do you think that's totally okay? Do you think that this is ridiculous? They've completely blown this out of proportion. They're vastly overinflating their own value and the value of tall people. They're creating this ridiculous, like, fake video game like market system of tall people privilege that's gonna do more harm than good, and it's stupid. Or are you kind of just somewhere in between? The whole thing just doesn't really affect your life in the grand scheme of things. You're just kind of on the fence, watching from afar, seeing women desperately try to fight over the tallest of men and kind of having a giggle about it. Where do you stand? I would say I'm more in the middle of just, it's never really affected me. I get to make jokes that, like, my entire existence is to, bring confidence to shorter men is probably the maximum amount of where this has affected me. I guess this would be an area of short woman privilege, is like, if I needed to look for a man who's taller than me, I have a much better shot than, I guess, a woman who's 6 foot tall. I guess that's where I do have some privilege there that I'll acknowledge in closing. But I don't know, man. I would love to see a society where we, like, collectively kind of move past that. But I don't know that we ever will. I think that there is a lot to be said for the fact that this fixation on height is kind of just ingrained in the evolutionary dynamic of not only ours, but a ton of different species. This concept of, like, bigger is better, So I don't think it's going away. I think it's very silly. I think that women would feel a lot more at peace with themselves if they just accepted and appreciated that men don't care if you're taller than them at all. They will still probably never be able to keep their hands off of you if you're nice to them. Like, men are a lot more simple than that. We're the ones overcomplicating it, and I think it might be worth our while to give men, dare I say it, 2 to 4 inches taller than us a chance. Blasphemy! Shut up from the women's club. Pick me! Pick me! The most funny thing is, could you imagine if someone did call me a pick-me for telling women that maybe they should try giving average height men a chance? Is that, like, I'm literally trying to get you to get picked by men instead of me? Isn't that the ironic part of it? Lacey, thank you for another one. Says, is it leftover instincts? Bigger means good, mate. That's another great term for it too, is like silly leftover instincts. Because there are some of those, like, useless qualities that don't really serve us anymore. I can't name anything specific, but I know that there are things like that in other animals too, where they've just kind of like evolved out of needing it, but it's still hanging around anyway. Yeah, a lot of the men saying I've dated tall and short women. Doesn't matter. We love to hear it. But that's all I've got, I would say, for now on tall male privilege. My opinion is that it definitely exists. I don't see it going away anytime soon. We do have the means to combat it and evolve past it, but whether we will or won't, time will tell. That's a personal decision up to us, specifically us as women, if we're willing to do some inner work and maybe see if we can move past that a little bit. But we'll see. I would encourage men to also look inside of themselves at maybe some of their more shallow qualities that might be hindering their progress in the dating world as well. That survives the gender swap. That is advice that I can safely give to everyone without bias, But on that note, moving into our next theme or topic, you guys get to vote, okay? These are your options. We can either cover cheating logic, debunk it, call out the intellectual inconsistencies and hypocrisies, the double standards of that, and make fun of cheaters and their affair logic in general. Lord knows I'm good at that. We could also cover a partner shamer that I ended up interviewing and having a little conversation with. I saw a partner shamer and decided I'm going to approach this a little differently this time and see if they'll talk to me. And they did. So we could cover that. Or third, a surprise, a random video, just of my choosing. Third surprise option. So your options are making fun of cheaters, talking to a partner shamer, or I just hit you with a wild card. Just totally random. What does the chat think about this one? Number 2 sounds like new and original content. All right. Lots of partner shamers. Okay. You know what? I'm going to consider that an immediate majority vote, and we're just going to go ahead and get this party started. Okay? I'm sure you know the song that's playing right now. This has been the feminist anthem since 2022, I want to say. But it's the song about how men just want women to be a maid, a mother, all that kind of stuff. We're just perpetually oppressed is basically the song, with the text overlay of, quote, "The divorce came out of nowhere." Now, I will say this, I'm so sorry, audio only crew, but whenever I see a partner shaming video, I love to really investigate it, really give it a thorough look, see how bad is this? Just because I have seen some partner shaming where it's dude, what are we fighting about right now? Okay, he left out a spoon. Okay, there's a dish not quite put away at the right angle. I guess there have been some where I'm oh, this is not worth a full TikTok expose. So let's get into this and see what you guys think. We're in the kitchen, we're looking around, and it's I think we can safely say lived in. We're going by really fast, so it's hard to really get a full look. It looks like something's actively cooking on the pot. So now I'm kind of the reliability of this narration is now off to me, because it's okay, so you've been home long enough to start cooking dinner, so I now no longer know whose mess is exactly whose. did he start this pot and then has been gone for 45 minutes? Because you know what? I can understand. Your husband would be a fire risk at that point, but not enough context at the moment. All right, we scan to this little corner. I don't know. I mean, you guys could definitely use a spice rack. I think a spice rack would really help clear some things up here. I don't know, just my little recommendation, but so far I'm not upset. Since you're in the middle of cooking, it makes sense that there would be a lot of spices out, or whoever's in the middle of cooking. The floor looks clean, by the way. Maybe I'm easily impressed by homes. The sink, also free of dishes. And by the way, that is such a bonus that years ago, when like I was first introduced as like the new character of my husband's co-parenting situation, and mysteriously CPS had to come and do a quick little checkup, they like raved about our house. They loved us. And I remember one of the things that they like really put in the description was like, sink clear of dishes. And I was like, that's right, they noticed. I was so happy. I was like, I'm so happy I get to like show this off. Oh, did I do the thing again with the chat and just never notice? Apparently I did. Anyway. Yeah, like the floor looks nice and kept. The plants look nice and lively, right? Like that, and maybe that's her. Maybe she's doing all this. But okay, so far I don't hate the kitchen. Okay, wait, like let's go. I don't know what we're mad about yet. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. I keep like, I just want it. She's going by so fast. Okay. So I don't know. It looks like we have some things drying. Like that's good. They're not put away yet, but it's not filled up yet. These could stand to be put away. Maybe he was supposed to do that while she was like gone. But listen, at least you guys have a dishwasher. Mine's still broken, so like enjoy. Okay, some recycling that needs to be broken down, some dog food that needs to be like put away. Unless they just keep the dog food out like that. We use like an under the sink bin that we pour the bag into and then it's lidded. What am I supposed to be? Am I like missing something? Let me like check the chat really quick. Thank you, Christine, for saying I'm really pretty. That was really nice. I've seen worse places. I mean, that's not much of a compliment, right? Like if you were dating a woman and you were like, how do you think things are going between us so far? And she's like, I've dated worse men. I mean, you wouldn't think things were going very well. Well, I missed the start. What's this? Right now we're in the middle of like a partner shaming. So she's kind of like flashing through the kitchen and showing us like, this is why I have to divorce my husband. So far, I'm kind of like, this looks like a lived-in home. Okay, so now, okay, maybe I'm a slob. Maybe I'm the problem. But like, to me, I don't think it's normal to be a family, especially with kids, especially like a family of 4, and your main living room or dining room table is not just like constantly full of shit until it doesn't need to be. Am I wrong? Like, or am I very average? Like, the way that I grew up, the kinds of friends that I grew up with and being surrounded by, the way that I live now is ideally I would like to keep, areas of the dining room table pretty clean in case I need to sit down, if someone needs to sit down and do something. But there's almost always an open craft or project or stack of shit going on. And if we're entertaining, if there is a party planned, it'll get taken care of. But if you drop by on an average Tuesday, this is what my house is gonna look like. Should my husband divorce me? Like, am I just telling on myself as a very divorceable woman? Is this just Dadvocate's kidnappable and divorceable arc in full swing right now? Lauren, check the battery levels on the camera. I usually get 2 hours out of it before we start to shut down like a Windows 98 computer. So I think we have about like 20 minutes until we crap out battery wise. But like, okay, tell me, like, it doesn't look that bad. All right. You guys can tell me I'm wrong, by the way. You guys can say that I'm a slob. I can take it. Okay. None of you can be meaner than my mom. Okay. This might be the part where I get a decent criticism. Me personally, this is like me. This is my area of the house though, so it's my domain, so I'm allowed to be picky about it. You're not gonna find clothes on the floor in my laundry room. I don't like it. We have animals. It's very easy for like fur and lint. We have an unfinished basement as well to like collect on the floor. So at the very least, I'm going to appropriate them where they belong in the hamper. I have a darks, I have a lights, and I have a whites. Actually, no, we switched it to darks colored light. Oh wait, am I allowed to say colored or am I gonna get canceled like Joey Swole? Different colored. Different colored. But at least stuff is gonna be off the ground. I do try to keep it moving. I will say though, it doesn't mean that it's not gonna build up. Right now, I am actually so convinced that we all have so many clothes that I am on a mission to delay doing the laundry for as long as I can mentally handle it, which probably will only last like 4 days. I'm the laundry queen of the home. Still though, I have friends who keep their laundry on the floor and are running perfectly good homes. Like I said, that's a me thing. That's just me. Now, if TJ's the dishes guy, I'm the laundry woman. So like we each have our assigned tasks. But like if I told TJ don't just throw clothes on the floor, he wouldn't. So if she has told him don't just throw clothes on the floor, use a basket, use a hamper, he should not be throwing them on the floor. I will agree. Okay, lessons can be learned if that's the case. But let's keep going. I love this though. Vianney says, I throw all of our clothes together and never once had an issue. Separating is a conspiracy. That's Team TJ. That's Team TJ. If he was still doing all of the laundry, nothing would be separated. And he is kind of selling me on that a little bit. But unfortunately, I have seen lighter colored clothes turn a bit when washed with darker clothes. So at the very least, darks and lights is my bonus, but I quit separating whites. I quit separating whites from the coloreds. You know what I mean? I'm so canceled after this stream, dude. Y'all are gonna clip me and I'm getting canceled Joey Swole style. Even though what I'm saying is right in both facets. Cash Shadow says, is that a spider on the back wall? Yeah, I actually have a whole full table of or chair full of spiders. Actually, Will Honorless stares in colors. All the colorblind people are also mad at me right now. Okay, then we have the couch. Guys, I swear I'm not just saying this to be like a pick-me who defends men from anything, because I would have the same take if a man was making this video to shame how his wife keeps the house. Also, I'm not saying it because I clearly now have a bias toward whichever parent is teaching their children the greatness of Dragon Ball Z and Boo as a character in general. Boo spotted, by the way. But like, I'm sorry, but when you're a parent, this is what your couch is going to look like most of the time. Like, you can try your damnedest to keep the couch free. You can even try to make an agreement with your family like, hey, you can play on half of the couch, but you have to at least leave half for people to be able to sit down on. And have that fair expectation of like talking with your family about it. But like, there's always going to be stuff on the couch from kids. Always. Forever. And there's nothing you can do to stop any of that. Drink water, queen, please. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Did you see how quickly Lacey just dumped me on screen? I turned into a good girl for Lacey real quick. She said, drink water. I said, yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Now I'm choking because I'm laughing too hard. But yeah, dude, like, again, if people are coming over, yes, clear off the couch. Like, if he knew people were supposed to be coming over, it's his responsibility. If you told him, like, hey, I'm going to be out getting stuff for the party, the black lung. please get the house ready. And you, like, this is what you came back to, and he's just like on his phone. Yeah, it's just that, like, there's not enough context right now. You're just showing me a regular ass house, okay? I'm dying. Okay, wait, we gotta see the end. Oh god, where did we? Sorry, it just like sent me to the very next video. I will go back. Gotta get back to that one. Oop. Okay, I'm gonna try to pause it on the very last area of this house so we can judge the ending. Okay. All right, as we scan to the rest of the house, it does appear that there was like no seating area left, which is frustrating, but also blame them damn kids and yourself. I'm sorry, you're saying he put your purse here? That's his purse? That's my purse! I don't know you! I don't know. The house for the most part seems very lived in, and it seems as though we have small children. And like, Samantha, I'm looking at you right now because you get it, especially when the kids are young. Your living room is forever gonna look like a bomb went off, dude. It got to a point where TJ and I just like put up a sign in the living room that just says, "Pardon the mess, the kids are making memories." Like, we know. We accepted very early on what the living room was gonna look like. Now again, if the context was, I asked my husband to prepare the house, I gave him enough time, the kids were not home with him, and he failed, then you know what? That's annoying. I still don't know if it should be partner shamed, though. That's what's annoying about partner shaming, is like, you could be right, and the fact that you still made it all of our business kind of puts you in the wrong. You know? It's like, then you had all the ability to be right in the situation, and in the confrontation, and in the conversation about it. And yet now, you're on an equal playing field. Because you can be mad that he didn't clean up the house, and now he can be equally mad that you are putting him on blast to, let's take a little looky-loo here. What? 105,000 likes? That means it's probably at like 1 million views. I'm getting blasted to 1 million people? I deserve all that? Damn! Let's read some of the comments, okay? Oh yeah, here's some more context. The caption reads, I went to dinner for 2 hours to celebrate graduating with a 4.0 and came home to this. Editing to add, the mess isn't actually the problem, even though I picked up before I left. Okay, so it sounds like the kids were with him. Did she... I don't know when the dinner was. I don't know when their typical bath time is. I don't know what is typically the standard for them. If she just never leaves the couch with toys for the morning, or what. This is one of those really difficult to navigate situations, but unfortunately, 90% of the people who react to this video are going to follow the narrative presented instead of at all giving any opportunity to allow any possibility of that this is not ill intention. You know, like, there will be times where, like, TJ might pick up after dinner, but the dishes still remain in the sink unwashed, because his plan is to just wash them the next morning. Like, it was just one of those days where he was like, just laying down and being horizontal is a bigger priority to me right now than doing the dishes right now. I will take the extra elbow grease for whatever else it takes to scrub off it being here, but it's like, now that's my problem. You know what I mean? Like, if you make clear in your communication, part of you watching the kids means I really need you to clean up after them in addition to putting them to bed and putting them to sleep. You could realistically privately communicate where he says something like, I was planning on doing it in the morning, or I hear you, that was my bad, some kind of acknowledgement. Now, if this is like repetitive and there's no changed behavior, I get it. But again, this is really very little context for us to fully agree with a divorce, right? I cannot look at this 8-second clip and fully agree that divorce is necessary. And yet, this comment, it's not the mess, it's the lack of care to help out and the fact that they expect you to clean up 24/7. Again, this is brought up a lot. This is one of the number one issues in probably every marriage, is when the spouse does not do something that you end up doing before they get to it. There is this narrative built up inside the head of, my spouse expected me to do this. They left this here on purpose for me to take care of. Assuming the worst, most ill intent, when if you communicate, it's more likely that you'll find out, I never expected you to take care of that. You just got to it before me. Is usually the case, like really 8 to 9 times out of 10. You know, unless like you've had a conversation with this man, he's like, I just thought you would take care of it. Then like, assuming so can be very dangerous. And then when you ask for help, they think you're nagging. No, I'm just drowning in work and I spend my free time being your mom. Ew. Liked by creator. If a man posted, my wife left the stove and made a mess while I was out, while I was with my friends and she was alone with the kids, I'm going to divorce her, the internet would have a fit. Interesting. So kind of like a counter argument. All the guys in these comments. So apparently she has been getting some negative criticism. So it's also, let me see. So he did leave the stove on? Is that what I'm seeing? Because if she went out to dinner, I don't see why she would need to heat something up. But also, playing the devil's avocado here, maybe it's heating up because he hadn't gone to bed yet. It's very possible she's just frustrated that it wasn't done as soon as she got home. And I don't know what the conversation was before this. We don't get the necessary context. We never do. Maybe she had said, I would really love to be able to come home to the kids being in bed so I can soak my feet in the tub. Then, you know, a bit of a failure on expectations gone wrong, you know? But let's see. Half of y'all are missing the point. She cleaned up before she left to celebrate herself. He was home, and when she came back, this is how it looks. From the sound of it, she gets no help from her husband. Yeah, from the sound of the 8-second clip and the 2-sentence caption, you can confidently determine that this man does nothing. I also have some other questions about the situation, like, why wasn't the husband invited to celebrate this accomplishment? Like, was he and he declined? Did he, like, just not want to go? Because that would also make him the a-hole. Did she not want to bring the kids and he was the best babysitting option? So even though it's unfortunate that he had to miss it, I kind of, a little bit of me feels like this was a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, she left the house thinking in her head, I just know the house isn't going to be the way that I want it to be when I get home. And then she gets home and it's not. And then she's justified and it's warranted. And now that she has all this TikTok virality, now it's even more warranted. But it's like, yeah, this wouldn't survive the gender swap if a man was like, I'm going out to a company dinner and I come home to my wife leaving the house like this. People would be like, sir, what the that's a weird way to thank your wife for being home with the kids alone. You know, wouldn't that be the response if a man did this? But I'm going to show you guys a couple videos. First, I'm going to leave you in a bit of suspense because I am going to change out the camera battery and I am going to refill my water. So before we get into the next video, from this partner shamer, we're going to take a quick, brisk, short break. I'll be right back, okay? Right back. Okay. I told you guys that it would be like quick, very quick BRB. Okay. Didn't take much to refill my water. But I noticed while I was up that I was naked this whole time. I did not have my wedding ring on until just now. I take it off if I am ever lifting weights or walking the dogs, both of which I did today because I do not want to be degloved. I talk about degloving so much on my channel. You could also call me the Dadvocate or the anti-Dadvocate, quite frankly. If you don't know what degloving is, I don't recommend Googling it. All I will say is if there is ever anything that requires like heavy activity with your hands of any kind, like any kind of hard labor, I don't recommend wearing your wedding ring. Like you can just wear a silicone ring that will snap if you need be, and then you don't have to worry about anything. But divorce worthy TBH. Nar. Nar. New alert sound? Oh, is there? I'm goofy. I apparently did not even notice that I did that, nor even don't know what the alert was. Oops. Heck yeah, lifting weights, dude. I work out at home like every single day. Just about probably every single day. I even if I'm having like a rest day, I do some kind of like active recovery, muscle repair, rebuilding. And I have my own weights. I know I'm not like ripped to shreds, but hopefully one day, if I keep eating my protein goals. Samantha says Andrew's having flashbacks. Oh God, what did I do? Oh my God, yes. Dude, I'm so glad that we didn't deglove your husband. So happy about that. Yeah, I officiated Samantha's wedding, and yeah, we almost got the ring fully stuck on this man's finger, had to take him to the hospital. An eventful wedding, to say the least. Keshav says, I think you're due for a scandal. Oh goodness. Oh Lord. Honestly though, if you like really Google the Dadvocate, like there is probably like there are some scandalous rumors. I remember one time I did the thing that you're not supposed to do and like looked myself up on Reddit, and they were like, did you know that she was the other woman in his last marriage, and he's the reason that he left, or she's the reason that he left his last wife? And I'm like, I'm the first wife. They were broken up for years. Anyway, that's awkward. If you're a person online and you exist, there will be scandal. Wodros, heads up, my mom is slightly aware of you, and then I'm a fan. Keep an eye out for a TikTok calling you racist for sticking up for me. Word. Here we go. Ask and it shall be delivered. You said, Dadvocate, get yourself a scandal. Wodros said, bet. Here's my mom. I ain't too worried about it. So follow up, okay? In this partner shaming situation. Like I said, this woman did get... Hold on, let me fix this. I'm just going to center and... Okay. Sorry, audio only crew. I'm just fixing things visually really quick. Anyway, she did get quite a mixed bag of comments on that video. Again, like, I'm not going to take credit just because I started an entire series calling out partner shamers, many of which went pretty viral, and started to develop a lot of positive social sentiment for the idea of not partner shaming. I don't think I can take full credit for it beginning to be observed as like not super nice amongst like most people, right? But she got quite a diverse reaction here, and amongst many people offering her support and being like, of course your husband ain't shit, there was definitely people, you know, even if like annoyingly so, on the husband's side. Like, for example, this comment here, while I don't agree with partner shaming, I also don't agree with like super gender coded comments like this one. This dude says he was probably mowing the lawn. I don't know, man. It's just it's very dangerous when you set yourself up with arguments like that, because it's like all she has to do is like film herself mowing the lawn or something, and then it's like big gotcha against you. You know what I mean? There's just way better arguments that you could make. But that's probably why she responded to this one and not the way better arguments that tons of other people were making. So here's her response to he was probably mowing the lawn.
Isn't that honestly comical to me? Because here I am taking out the trash because I'm the only one that does it around my house. I have dinner in the oven. I worked this morning and my grass seed's cut. But you know what? It's not going to happen until my dad does it, because I was doing it at 8 months pregnant and my husband just couldn't be bothered.
That was a lot. Hey, did you guys know that contempt is one of the primary pillars of divorce incoming? It's right below posting a TikTok that says divorce is incoming. More obvious signs have been posted, but this one certainly offers some reassurance that we're pretty interested in the idea of the D word at this point. What a chaotic response to a chaotic comment. She was like, yeah, you want to use the mowing the lawn argument? Well, here I am taking out the trash because no one else does it around here. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to say. We are not getting the husband's side on this necessarily, you know, go off. And then my grass stays cut. I kind of leaned in because I was like, that's ambiguous language, right? Like, how does it stay cut? By whomst? And then she said, my dad, like, well, this works against you in some ways because that's going to make the men happy because they'll be like, well, that's still a man doing the man chore. It's getting done, I guess. You know, not by him, not by the husband. So I guess still a point in her favor. And obviously kind of a bummer to hear that, you know, she's, of course, mowing the lawn at 8 months pregnant. I'm definitely curious to know why. I would like to know what this man has to say for, is it true? Do you agree that you do not help out with these things? Do you agree that you should help out with these things? I would like to hear this man's response, but the best I have is this conversation that I had with this woman in the DMs, which we will get to after one more video. I'm curious to go through a couple of these comments and see what people have to say about this one, because it obviously did not pop off as much as the last one, views and response wise. Some sarcasm from the opposition here. You seem like an absolute joy to be around. Other people on her side are saying, far as I'm concerned, he can make his own dinner, implying that when she mentioned that she has dinner getting ready, she should not give any of it to him. Okay. Very long comment about how she needs to start preparing to divorce, which the creator likes. And other people are like very much agreeing it's time for her to just cut this man off from anything that she's providing. Only do things for yourself and your kids around the house. No longer make him dinner. Make servings for you two. Put the rest in the freezer. He won't know it's there. Do your own laundry. Make your own side of the bed. Oh, making your own side of the bed is so petty. It's like when the neighbors have like that spot of the lawn that they share and they like, right, I know you kind of have to in like certain situations, but like it reminds me of that. But making the bed is just like even sillier. Like that's so silly to make exactly one half of the bed. Like at that point, just write with your lipstick on the mirror, I hate you. Like just do that and we'll just stop dancing around the bush here. Like it's beating around the bush, isn't it? Or can you also say dancing? What are we doing around the bush? We're doing that and we're not being as direct as maybe we should be. Oh my gosh. So one last TikTok before we get into the conversation to give you a little bit more context on like the situation that we're dealing with.
Co-parenting with a narcissist is one of the most difficult things I've ever experienced in my entire life. So my daughter's dad, it is back to school, open house, and he wanted me to give up 2 hours of my time tonight to take my daughter to open house yesterday so that he didn't have to do it. And then when I decided, I was like, okay, you can take her. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with you because I'm not giving up 2 hours of my time. He was like, okay, fine. I'll just do it. Okay, great. I'm going to go anyways. And then he sends me a message yesterday and was like, well, I guess you can just take her. Okay. Like, learn.
This might be less comprehensible than that one super chat that I got earlier today where the autocorrect or whatever just absolutely took over in an insane way. This kind of content is like the only thing that makes me like feel like I'm having a stroke. Am I alone in this, or was that like the most weirded word? Like, I feel like as a kid, I did okay with those word problems in math. This one is really stumping me. I'm gonna go through this one more time. I might even slow it down just the littlest bit so that I can try. Gosh, dang it. Dangledy doodledy. So I can try to understand what is going on with her co-parenting situation and her baby daddy, an open house, which is not parent-teacher conferences. Let's go.
With the narcissist is one of the most difficult things I've ever
definitely
experienced in my
a narcissist.
entire life. So my daughter's dad, it is back to school, open house, and he wanted me to give up 2 hours of my time tonight to take my daughter to to open house yesterday.
He wanted you to time travel? He wanted you to jump through the wormhole of time and space? Your baby daddy wants you to give up 2 hours of your time today for an open house yesterday? This is like a worse version of the Popeye guy who's like, I'll pay you for a burger tomorrow for a burger today. Like, what? I think what she's trying to say is that maybe she said that she wanted to go to the open house and he was trying to say, well, it's my time, so if you want to go to the open house with her, then you have to give me 2 hours tomorrow. Do you guys think that is kind of what's going on? Wimpy, thank you for reminding me. I always forget his name. Let's see if this makes any more sense as this goes on.
So that he didn't have to do it. And then when I decided...
Wait. So that he didn't have to do it. So he's asking her to, I think now she's trying to say that he's asking her to go to the open house during his time with her. I don't know why that would take away her time. Like he was trying to do like a Tom Sawyer type of thing, like Tom Sawyer Huckleberry Finn, where he like tries to convince her that the chore is like fun, like how Tom Sawyer like had to paint a fence before he could hang out with Huckleberry Finn, so he convinced the neighborhood kids that they should pay him marbles to be able to get to paint the fence, and so then he got to go play with Huckleberry Finn while all of the kids gave him their marbles to do his chore. Like, is that what's going on, where he like pulled a fast one on her and was like, don't you want to go to this open house so bad? Like, you can make up for it and like give me 2 hours of your time tomorrow, but like, don't you just want to go to this open house because I can't, because I have work? Like, do you think that's the situation? I'm trying so hard to be charitable, you can tell, because he said that he can't go, but I think he's trying to be like, you take over for me and I'll just simply take some time out of years later.
Decided, I was like, okay, you can take her. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with you.
Wait, so now she's saying that he's asking to take her.
Co-parenting with a narcissist is one of the most difficult things I've ever experienced in my entire life. So my daughter's dad, it is back to school, open house, and he wanted me to give up 2 hours of my time tonight to take my daughter to to open house yesterday so that he didn't have to do it.
So he's asking for her to give up 2 hours of the time that she would spend with their kid so that he can take her to open house. I'm not understanding the so he didn't have to do it part. Are there multiple open houses that he could have attended with his time? This is like the final rap battle in Parappa the Rapper when you are trying so hard to get all of the buttons right, but you keep having to redo it until you have to ask your babysitter to please do it for you. I'm projecting.
And then when I decided, I was like, okay, you can take her. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with you because I'm not giving up 2 hours of my time. He was like, okay, fine. I'll just do it.
Why does she have to give up 2 hours of her time for him to take her? I think he's like just trying to take her to the open house. I go be at the open house with his daughter, and it maybe not affect the custody schedule. Like, I think when she means because he didn't want to do it means he didn't want to give up any of his time to do it. He just wanted to take her in addition to the time, not be like nickel and dimed. Okay, I'm so glad that I'm not the only one who is like, you are making no sense here. But I guess she's saying that she's gonna let him take the daughter to the open house.
Okay, great. I'm going to go anyways. And then
So then what is the fucking argument? What? Please tell me if it's different at your kid's school, because I know parents are listening. In our school, there's only one like open house. There are 2 time slots. In our school, there was like a 1 to 3 and then a 5 to 7 for the like open house. So there were 2 options. So like, if I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe he couldn't make one. He could only make the one that she would be at. I don't know why during their communication when he was like, I would love to go to the open house with her, she wasn't just like, oh, cool. We'll be there. We'll see you there. I don't know if they have something in their parenting agreement where like they can't both be in the same place at the same time, but obviously they don't, because she was like, fine, you can take her and I'll see you there. Semantics. At this point, it sounds like a bit of like a power struggle is going on, and I'm not too sure who's the one who's initiating the power struggle, you know? So she's like, okay, you take her and I will see you at the open house. Okay, let's see what happens.
And he sent me a message yesterday and was like, well, I guess you can just take her. Okay. Like, learning to not argue with a narcissist is so difficult because you feel like you need to constantly defend yourself. When you stop defending yourself and you just like parallel parent, it is so much more peaceful.
I think I understand what's going on. I think I understand, and I think that I can now explain it better. So what's going on here is the reason that she feels that she has to defend herself is a complete projection coming from her own internal self-awareness of what she is doing. Here's what I've finally figured out happened. Open house is coming up. There is only one open house. He asks if he can take their daughter to open house. She initially is like, yeah, if you sacrifice your time. I believe she said 2 hours. She's thinking of this as like, well, if you take her, then you're taking all this time away from me, so then you owe me. Then she makes clear additionally, if you do take her, I will be there anyway. So he's like, at this point, I can hang out with my kid, which was the point all along. I'm just going to be docked 2 hours if I drive her. So it's not worth it to me to be docked 2 hours. I might as well just let her mom drive her and let her have this like control freak win and I'll just still see her there for 2 hours. Like that seems to be how that whole thing was delivered. And yet her interpretation of it is he's this evil, controlling narcissist who has to be in control of everything. And I'm the bigger man for not picking a bigger fight over it when he chose to just let me have my way. The call is coming from inside the house, I fear. I believe that her whole feeling of like, he's making me need to defend myself is coming from the fact that she knows that she's being petty on purpose. She knows that she could have easily been like, oh, you know, I was planning on taking her to open house, but like, if you want to just drive her and drive back, like, I'll see you there. That simple. That simple, dude. Why are we making co-parenting so much harder and more complicated than it needs to be? You were just trying to nickel and dime this dude of the probably like minuscule parenting hours he already had. For what? For what? And so like looking at this whole situation, I might need to lower my camera down. I'm like too short for this. Analyzing the entire situation, it makes sense that there are two very harsh sides divided on the response to this entire video. On one side, you have a lot of women who can relate to the whole trope of, I'm working so hard and doing everything, and he thinks that just by working and coming home with a paycheck that he can just put his feet up and not help anymore when he gets home, and he's not there for me emotionally, and I'm just so checked out of this marriage, and all men are the same rhetoric, just ready to cheer her on and feed into that. On the other side, you have people who are like, well, you talk shit about your husband online, you talk shit about your baby daddy online, there's one common denominator in all of these toxic situations that just are happening to you. What is that common denominator? You know, I feel like there's a lot of people rightfully on that side. Perhaps a bit more justified even than those just kind of aimlessly throwing up their support for her situation when there's so much context missing. We've covered a lot in this time span, but the reality is this has been like 3 total minutes of footage, maybe. Just one tired, fed up woman. And of course I'm gonna give credence to the possibility that like she might have a bum ass husband, like she might have a dude who truly does deliver the absolute bare minimum, like kind of sucks. It's possible. They're out there for sure. However, you know, as a very truly discerning woman of the internet, I must scrutinize. I must look at when people post these kinds of things like, clearly you need validation. And I don't know, you know, sometimes being self-assured and true of your convictions is not enough for you to be confident enough to make a decision, and you do need more support. Absolutely. This guy could suck. She might need the divorce. Very, very possible. But like, what is the best case scenario of making these videos, right? Like you could argue the best case scenario is this support encourages her to get a divorce and she comes out more stable than ever for her kids and her life. Maybe. But does she have any hope for this marriage? So let's get into the DMs. All right, I'm gonna pop these up. I'm gonna take a little sippy sip of water here. So I messaged her. I said, hey, I was going to cover your video on my channel, but I wanted to ask some questions to get some further perspective if you don't mind. First, does your husband know about the videos you make? Second, do you think you're seriously considering divorce, or is this kind of just a harsh eye-opening you're hoping for him? Third, if you did want any... Sorry, let me restart that. Third, if you did want anyone to understand the full intention of your video, how would you describe it? Thank you so much if you choose to reply, but if not, I totally understand. So I'm trying a new approach, people. I'm like, you know what? Let me just talk right to him. Let me just see. You know, you never know unless you try. So I reached out. She responded back. And she says, hey, my husband is very much aware I don't want to be married and that I'm on TikTok. I am seriously considering divorce. So that doesn't fully answer my question, right? Like, that seems a little bit evasive. Saying my husband is aware that I don't want to be married and I'm considering divorce, and that I'm on TikTok, doesn't mean that he knows about these videos, does it? Is it just me, or does that feel like a little bit of like a... Oh, you were trying to swing something at me? I'm just gonna move out of the way of that one. That's a little bit difficult. She goes on, I signed up to be a partner, not his mother. He thinks because I work from home, in a call center, taking back-to-back calls, I should still be the one doing all the housework and childcare. And I do. He used to cook, but stopped. I guess he does occasionally, like 5 days a month. The video wasn't about the mess that was left by him being home with our kids. It's that while I was celebrating a huge accomplishment, he diminished at every turn, might I add. I was then expected to pick it all up. I'm not a stay-at-home mom, and even so, one should not be responsible 24/7 for everything simply because they are home. I'm exhausted. I've asked for so much help for years, and now that I'm finally focusing on bettering myself and my kid's life, I am making him accountable for all the stuff he's begging me to try. I hope that makes sense. Oh wait, no, she says, and now that I'm finally focusing on bettering myself and my kid's life and making him accountable for all his stuff, he's begging me to try. Whoa, why did my chair go back that far? Not me, like, unexpectedly wiping out midstream. So it sounds like there's a high potential for resentment on both sides. I don't know what the agreement was when they got married or what they talked about before they got married, with this man knowing damn well she had at least one kid with at least one other man. It sounds like she keeps saying my kids. So the two or more else that exist, I don't know if that's with another baby daddy or with her husband. I actually do not know from the context just yet. But we've talked in the past about a step-parent's responsibilities over a stepchild. And I've even said myself that a step-parent really ought to just be a bonus, not a replacement for a parent, right? And it could be completely different if the woman's child father figure has completely stepped out or died. And then you agree that you will fully step up in every way, then yes, more responsibility will fall onto you. But generally, I don't think that it should be like a stepmom's responsibility to pay her husband's child support to his ex. I don't think that it should be a stepdad's responsibility to fill in for all of the financial obligations of the child instead of the dad. You know what I mean? So in this situation, I'm wondering if part of his resentment is coming from the fact that she wants him to either pay for or figure out a solution for childcare for kids that she made before she even met him. This might be an ongoing argument between them. He might be like, I went into this expecting that you would continue to take care of your kids or get the father to take care of them, and I can just help out in addition. I was not expecting to either somehow be the stay-at-home dad and work, or start covering entire childcare costs, which I know a lot of you know about childcare costs. I do wonder if it is something like that, but here we are. That we are clearly not very happy with each other. And it leads to the question of, I think most of us disagree with partner shaming when you are intending to maintain the relationship. I think that it's incredibly reckless and irresponsible if you are trying to make things work with your spouse and expect things to like go on as usual, to then make a public shaming ritual of whatever you're going through because you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. No sir, no ma'am. You know, that's gonna leave a scar on the relationship doing something like that. So the conversation goes on. I try to, ingratiate myself with her so she'll keep talking. I say, ain't that just the classic trope? Beg and beg for years, and then when the D word gets brought up, it came out of nowhere. Being on social media for a while, I can tell you there are going to be two distinct categories of people who respond to your content now that it's kind of blowing up. Either you're the problem because you're the common denominator between all of these problematic men, or you're the kind of people pleaser who attracts narcissistic men. One will attack you, one will be sympathetic. It'll be tricky online because not many people will encourage you to work things out with your husband, and that might push you more toward the divorce route than you would have otherwise. Then again, if you're truly fed up, you might have designed that extra push on purpose to get you to make that decision for good. And then I used the analogy here, the toothpaste can't be put back in the tube. So he doesn't know about these videos in particular, right? What does trying to fix things look like for him? Sorry, I'm nosy and trying to get a better perspective when I cover these things, as I have been a bit lazy and reactive in the past. Accountability, let me just accountability humble brag really quick. She says, you're right, social media can definitely push people to extremes. So I've been preparing myself for both kinds of reactions. I don't take it too personally though, because most people are only seeing a small piece of the bigger picture. I love that she can tell that like there is a lapse of context, so we can't really make a full judgment based off of it. And yet she's like, thank you to all of the supporters who fully understand. And to the haters, you just don't get it. Like, well, isn't it true then that your supporters don't fully understand either? She says, don't get me wrong, I'd love to be a team. I just don't see it happening. I feel like I've begged for the bare minimum and have not gotten it. He does know about the videos. I'm friends with his family and friends on here. Okay, so she, you know what? At least respect for the fact that she is going like full-blown balls to the wall with this. Like, she is 100% 10 toes down committed. At least she's not half-assing the partner shaming. She is whole-assing it. Like, she is fully committed to just like making sure the people who need to know that this man ain't shit, his family and friends, they'll know. And that's what's important in a marriage, is not protecting them whatsoever and throwing them under the bus in as personal and hard-hitting of a way as possible. Let's go. She says it's not some big secret. For me, I just want help without having to do it like my children. Like, here is XYZ, do it. No. You live here too and can see that the laundry needs switched or that the dishwasher can be ran or emptied. Again, a team effort. Why am I 24/7 and he thinks his job stops when he gets off work? So, a little insight from the mind of a partner shamer. And honestly, it's so tough to keep hearing women saying the exact same regurgitated every woman is oppressed talking points you could ever possibly hear. And it's like, this is so much of why I do the woman-splaining thing, because it's like, you're taking these memes that are designed to like validate everything about like and reassure you that like, yes, you're the victim, yes, men bad, men are always oppressing, and you're always doing everything right, and he's always doing everything wrong. And again, like so many of these talking points of like, they want me to be their moms and I do everything, and it's weaponized incompetence, and there's a whole bingo card. And like I could probably bet, like I could probably gamble pretty safely that they are within their first 2 years of marriage, and that they have not even tried sitting down and having an honest to God, non-heated, good faith discussion about who does what currently, who should be doing what your highest priority items are, what your least favorite chores are, who thinks who is putting what time into what, or anything like that. And I could not encourage enough. I keep saying this. You guys need to get like little crowns. They could be like Burger King crowns or like dollar store. It's about to be like cheap Halloween stuff season. I know that you guys have like those Halloween USA, Spirit Halloweens opening at all the like previously decrepit strip malls in your area. I know this. So you can get like a cheap crown if you really want to go through with it, like get some cheap capes, but you could also just like get blankets or something, or like robes, and like only speak in an English accent, and like create a decree of like, we shall now decree the domestic labors of thine empire, so stated. And you just make it as silly as possible. Take a shot every time that you like agree on something. Make it like just ridiculous as, because it's a serious conversation and it's not going to get any more fun deciding on like who does what in a relationship and agreeing on that. So like you have to make it as objectively silly as you possibly can and just get through it. You know? But unfortunately, there's not enough like, what's the term for like, you know how guys have the term good old boys? What's the girl, like the lady version of that? Like, good old girl kind of sounds like something you'd call a horse. It doesn't exactly fit with what I'm going for here, but like the the old southern lady concepts of like trying to get you to make things work while still being reasonable and empathetic. You know, unfortunately, she's probably just going to get inundated with either dudes who freaking hate her, which, while some of the responses might be funny, like, you're not going to help her work things out with her man by telling her she ain't shit. Or women telling her her man ain't shit and that she's 100% in the right, which is going to, like, feed into every self-fulfilling narrative that she's already got going in this situation. And listen, I speak from experience. I've been there in early marriage where like I was getting poisoned with like modern radical feminism that was trying to convince me that like my man hates me. And then I started asking questions. Why do you do that? Why do you do that like that? Why don't you prioritize this? Did you know that I prioritize it? Did you even notice that I do? Should we talk about this? Like, it seems simple, but very easy to miss. Very easy to miss, sadly. Good old Coven. You know that old coven logic called a Southern Belle? Southern Belle logic. What I love about the Southern Belle trope is that it can apply to older ladies. You know, like Dolly Parton. That's, you know, she's like a grandma, but you would still call her a Southern Belle. You know? That's pretty sweet. Okay, ladies got that. Even if you're northern, you can still have Southern Belle energy, you know? But look, that is that on Miss Alicia Dawn, the partner shamer who may or may not divorce her husband. And it just leaves us with a few questions, right? Because we have seen this in the past where we have a partner shamer on here who is fed up and they start really dropping prospects of the D word out here. They're really teasing, like soft launching even, the idea of a divorce right here on God's green internet. You know, just teasing it right there and then, which is like just so crazy, dude. If I started like posting online, like TJ's pissing me off so bad I might just divorce him. Like TJ is the kind of guy that would beat me to it. He would just like hand the divorce papers right to me with his signature on it and be like, you want it so bad? Go for it. You know, like don't fuck around with the fuck around or you might find out. We always say, you know? So like, but they do it. And some of them have fully gone through with the divorce. Not very many. But the rest of them, they just stay. Some of them delete the videos. Most of them don't. Just keep them pinned to the profile. And they just think it's funny and they just stay with these people. You know? So it's hard to say if she will or will not actually divorce this man or if it's just going to be that one time in their marriage that she went viral for talking shit on him and maybe they find a way to joke about it at Christmas. I do not know. Okay? Do you have empathy for her in the situation? Do you feel like sometimes if people are really not helping, they actually deserve to get partner shamed? Like, do you think there ever are instances where it's okay? Well, do you think that this could even play a part in like custody, right? You know, some people, they have like clauses in their parenting agreement that's like, you will not disparage your other parent publicly. And, you know, potentially her baby daddy or even her soon-to-be ex-husband, if they do share a child, could potentially use that in court against her. Do you think that that's possible? Leaves us with a lot of questions. As usual, we can't save these hoes, but we can learn from them. Maybe we shouldn't partner shame. Maybe we shouldn't bash our baby daddies and baby mamas super duper publicly while we're still in the midst of things, you know? Especially about such dumb shit. I hate that nickel and diming co-parenting stuff, that the absolute refusal to allow them to participate in anything without like taking it away from their weekends, or like even if you're at work or like you're not even gonna be there, not even letting them have them without nickel and diming that weekend time. I hate that. Makes me so mad. A lot of you guys are saying that you would definitely consider divorce if you were getting bashed online. I'm crying, dude. I know I've been labeled the blossom of the Powerpuff Girls gang on here between me, Roma, and Emily, but sometimes I'm just like Bubbles. We're like, I act tough, but like, it's hard. It's hard to hurt my feelings, but my husband could do it. If there's anybody who could really hurt my feelings, he knows how. He doesn't. He chooses not to. He's a merciful man, you know? Lacey says, okay, I raise you my mom bashing my hubby to strangers and friends, even though I've never said a bad word about him to her or anyone. She's Southern. Not the darkest arc of a Southern Belle. What's a Southern Karen? You got yourself a Southern Karen of a mom. Dude, I think that's like one thing that pisses me off. Ooh, my list of things, like, obviously my mom be out here hurting my feelings, but that's really low tier compared to like if she said anything bad about TJ, like if she was just like talking shit about TJ in front of people, I might start wilding. But the worst thing you can do is talk shit about my kid. Oh, don't play with me. I'll go crazy. The one where the Dadvocate goes to jail. Oh no, don't even take it there. Not that my mom has ever talked. My mom has not. Okay, I'm not saying she has. She has not, luckily. But like, oh, that would take me out. I fear I would not be super rational in those moments. Anyway, those are my thoughts on an interview with a partner shamer. I'm going to try to do that more often. I think I'm going to start going into just like inquisitive journalist mode. You know, like, what's the worst they can say? No. I'll respect a no. Of course. But I'm just going to ask. You want to chit chat? I'm curious. I just want to know. All right. We got to cover this one. Okay. There's a lot. There's a lot wrong with this. Now, y'all know if it's one thing that I'm going to do on this channel, it's advocate for equal shared parenting, call out double standards, and call out a fair logic, okay? And I have an ongoing rivalry with the affair community. And the leaders of the cheating community do not like me because they believe that I have an approach of shaming, and that shaming cheating does not stop cheating. To be fair, I'll agree with you, and I will meet you right in the middle of me shaming cheaters, not stopping them cheating, and you creating a community for cheaters to talk about cheating does not stop cheating. Let's shake on it, shall we? Let's start with some common ground. All right. However, one thing that I think might actually stop cheating is when people come out, especially former cheaters, and speak to their experience of all the shit that went wrong while they were cheating. All the ways that it blew up. And if you're not hearing it from a former cheater, another great place to get this kind of whatever cheater birth control is, like whatever the thing you can take to avoid. My husband just said common sense. Ain't so common, as it turns out. You know, just if you're starting to fall down a little bit of that rabbit hole, right, you're getting teased with, let's be honest, infidelity and cheating would not exist without the reality of temptation existing. This temptation is so common that it's like one of the most common themes of almost every religious and spiritual text. There are so many temptations in the world. If you really pay attention to it, you'll probably notice dozens in your life every single day. Temptations for things that maybe you should stay away from, and yet, right? And most of us don't take it so far as to have a full-on freaking affair in our marriage, right? But at least we can understand temptation. And so it helps to hear stories of cheater schadenfreude, however you say it, right? Cheater karma, the bad things that go wrong. And you can get it right from the source, right? One of the areas you can get this from are subreddits that are either pro-affair entirely, like the r/cake eater subreddit, or just a place that's designed to kind of be a safe space, like r/the other woman, where people who are the mistresses, the other women in their relationship, can kind of talk about their experiences. And then there's one of my favorite subreddits, which is r/adulterygate, and it takes posts from those two and kind of talks about, like, do you guys not like see while you're typing this out how messed up it is? you know? And it's things like women talking about like, I was with my married man and he said that him and his wife were in a dead bedroom, but now she's pregnant. Like, just please take note of that while even considering getting with a married man. Things like the other women stay with these married men for years, and then when he gets caught, throws her under the bus, and now everybody hates her for some reason. It's like, you can call this a shame tactic. It's literally reality. It is literally just the reality that is in front of you. And so that is one reason that I just think it is preventative care for me to cover these people that you will encounter in the wild who will try to help you minimize your affair, who will tell you it's just human, it's just natural. Who are they to stop your love, to prevent you from being happy? You're going to run into these people, apparently. Apparently they're multiplying, but one of them is, of course, the channel, The Other Women and the Wife. And she is, I will give her this, she is just an absolute master in lofty rhetoric designed for the specific purpose of making cheaters feel like they didn't do such an oopsie, in my opinion. And totally in my opinion, you take this exactly how you want to. I am purely here to react to public-facing content and give my own personal interpretations and reactions. In this video, you'll see that she is sitting here wearing her merch, which is like designed to empower you. I guess like as soon as you put it on or like wear the tote bag, your shame is like instantly forgiven. It's pretty cool. It's like when you like only have to do one rosary after confession, and like the fact that you beat the shit out of your brother is magically forgiven by God. It's basically just like that. But you can see that the text overlay begins with her talking about Andy Byron, who, if you don't remember, Andy Byron is the CEO from Astronomer who was caught having an affair live on a kiss cam at a Coldplay concert, and then the memes have been never ending since. This woman has already made 2 videos vigorously defending Andy and the other woman who was like the HR manager of this company with vigor, with absolute vigor, writing absolute fan fiction about these 2 people caught in an affair. And I guess she just like cannot stop defending Andy Byron. So I had to go over this one. And I did see that super chat from you, Lacey, says Chelsea's antics are my favorite sitcom. Dude, call it fan behavior if you want. I do not care. Like, she is a fountain of delusion that I feel like I do get a benefit of intellectually training against by, it's like those games at the arcade where like they light up and you just like knock them out as quick as you can. It's like she is popping up constantly with like the most ridiculous takes on affair, and I'm just like, that's stupid, that makes no sense, that directly goes against something you said 4 months ago. I can do this all day. Like, it's become a hobby of mine, and I think it keeps me fit, you know? So anyway, she goes,
Andy Byron was a CEO with millions at stake. Not exactly your average affair situation. A follower had sent me a carousel of another creator who was kind of tallying up how expensive an affair is. Mm-hmm. And she asked me to break it down because it really scared her. And rightfully so. Money can be scary. Yeah. But here's the real tea.
The real tea.
People post this because it's easier to judge and warn than to understand complexity. It leaves them feeling righteous without examining why marriages fail or why people seek connection elsewhere. But here's what they're really saying. Stay in your unfulfilling marriage because leaving or straying is expensive.
Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean by the fact that, like, I will at least give her the compliment that she has got that rhetoric game on point. Like, she would have been a great lawyer. I can see her being like really good in sales and like really being able to dress up whatever people want to hear and just pull it out of thin air for them, because she's good at that. Did you see how she managed to do that? So she has a client who comes to her and goes, Chelsea, people are really breaking down how much money this divorce is going to cost Andy Byron. And like, that's really scary to me. And it could be scary to her for a number of reasons, but I'm thinking that it might be scarier to this woman because she might just be one of the types, you know, the growing population of women who out earns her husband. And as a cheater, she might fear having to pay similar alimony and things like that. God forbid you're in a fault state for divorce, because I understand they go a little harder on cheaters in fault states, but I could be wrong. This woman comes to her with these concerns of like, this is really scary. Affairs can be so costly. And Chelsea, the master of tricking people into paying for more delusion, in my opinion, sorry, my husband laughing every time I say that, is gonna go, no, honey. They're only telling you that affairs are expensive as a way of making you feel small and trying to take away your power. That's just their way of saying you should just stay in this unhealthy marriage. Let's play Count the Logical Fallacies that have just happened mere seconds into the video. Okay? First of all, there's the entire financial fallacy. And what's great about a financial fallacy is it's really hard to argue with because they're numbers. You cannot argue with numbers, okay? We can agree that if someone says, God, my divorce is already costing me $15,000, that's a reasonable thing to complain about, right? As far as us agreeing on some common ground here. But you understand that it is a completely different situation when you go, I spent $15,000 of my family's money on an affair before I spent $15,000 on the divorce. Do you understand how you are just multiplying the damage of the divorce through the affair and then just creating a straw man of, oh, so you just want me to stay in the marriage? No, you could divorce, and it is the cheaper option than living a double life and then divorcing. What do you mean? Living a double life is always going to be so significantly more expensive than being married and then getting divorced. Like, there's no way that we can really, like, take the financial breakdown and that makes sense. Like, she's literally making this a very false comparison that when people try to reasonably warn you of the very real, historically demonstrated consequences of bad coping mechanisms, read as affairs, to being the exact same thing as saying you should just tolerate unhealthy conditions. I see your straw man and I poof it away from this conversation. That's ridiculous. Next, let's go over the intellectual consistency gap in Chelsea being an allegedly empathetic person. Tell me how this makes sense. A person who is trying to warn you that affairs can be incredibly expensive does not deserve empathy. You know who deserves empathy? Andy Byron, The CEO who spent over 6 figures of his family's money on OnlyFans. Yeah, have you heard this? Sophie Rain and all the other girls just coming out and absolutely tattling on this man. Over 100 grand on virtual spank bank material, while having a wife and an extra girlfriend. Dear God, the man with a rampant corn addiction is the one who deserves more empathy? I'm really struggling with understanding, like, where Chelsea's empathetic priorities lie. I fear that it's like a Disney villain level of, like, people who are as atrocious as me are the ones who deserve my time and energy, because they're the only ones who understand me. Like, it's this whole thing so far, it's like her listening to someone come into a school and go, "Hey kids, I want to introduce myself. I'm Carl, and I live with a traumatic brain injury sustained from riding my motorcycle without a helmet. I now have completely unprovoked seizures in which I will frequently wet myself in public, and I struggle with basic memory. My life is really hard, and wearing a helmet is very easy. So I would encourage all of you to not ride your motorcycle without a helmet." And then Chelsea comes in and goes, "So you're telling these kids they can never ride a motorcycle?" We're not telling you that you can't leave your marriage. Good God. No one's telling you to stay in your marriage forever when we tell you that affairs are expensive and bad. It's like, here's what's crazy is even Chelsea, multiple times throughout her videos, agrees that she does not encourage affairs, and even takes insult to when people suggest that she is encouraging or even helping people have affairs. She doesn't like that. So then why would you? That's shameful, don't you think? Don't you think you're shaming people in affairs that you won't even admit that you're okay with it? Like, she hates when you say, "So you're okay with affairs." She gets so upset. And yet, if it looks like it's okay with affairs and it talks like it's okay with affairs, why does it say it's not okay with affairs?
That's not wisdom. It's just expensive misery. Number 1, moral superiority disguised as...
That's not wisdom. That's just expensive, what was it, torture or whatever? Like, okay, first of all, the ChatGPT write-up that she's reading off is so obvious, dude. Isn't that always like the format ChatGPT uses? That's not this. It's this. That's not this. It's this. That's one thing I've really noticed about my experience with ChatGPT. Again, like, no one is saying, "Well, I think it would be wise to just stay in a marriage that harms you without taking any steps to regain independence and step away." No, that's called a straw man, that you're fighting the demons in your own head right now. So this is her. She calls every time someone says cheating isn't a great idea moral superiority. Like, every time you see someone on, like, their 10th Long Island and they're, like, literally about to kill themselves, when someone's like, "Maybe you should stop drinking," are you like, "That, can you get your moral superiority out of here? Who are you up on your high horse?" Like, I don't know, man. Maybe we're just trying to get them to not blow up their entire freaking lives and cause years of devastation and anxiety in their wake. Maybe. So what's the moral superiority? This is a tweet from some CPA that reads, "Your marriage is the most important investment you'll make. More than your career, more than your portfolio, more than your reputation. Andy Byron had all three. Now he has none. That's what an affair actually costs." And she's just reducing this down to like, oh my God, you're such a shamer. Why are you shaming? This is... No one called it wisdom but you, and I think you called it that because you clocked it the first time before you started gaslighting even yourself. This is clearly an older man speaking. Like, I know, Chelsea, you're getting up there yourself, old grandma side piece, but like, this is what wisdom looks like, and he's not wrong. Like, for someone to say marriage is the most important investment you'll make, he's on the same side as you. He's literally on the same side as you, where if you feel that you're making a poor investment, you should value yourself. Like, he agrees with you, you know that, right? Like, when he says that, he's simply saying you need to be incredibly discerning and not just go into a marriage for appearances or biblical reasons or because your parents are hounding you alone, because this is a person that you're going to come home to regularly. Their energy will influence you for as long as they are in your life. Even when you're apart, your responsibilities to that person will exist within you. How they react to you, how they love you, how they think about you is going to last a lot longer than, yes, these resumes, the portfolios, the career, the job titles. Absolutely, not that those things don't matter. And again, he's not even saying you should stay in your career even if it's killing you. You should never update your resume if it got you a job before. Like, he's not saying any of those things. He's not saying stay in toxic marriages. He said exactly what he meant to say. Okay? And like, discount this as like not good advice just because it's telling you you should probably end your affair is peak delusion. And this woman owns a business, is out here suing people, saying she's the only one who can coach affairs correctly. There's not any other good affair content online. Okay.
Education. This isn't actually educational content.
In your opinion?
It's moral grandstanding with statistics. The poster gets to feel superior while appearing to provide valuable information. It's for...
I love how like this is just so silly that she's like, oh, good for you. People who have never cheated and had affairs on your spouse is what... Do you want a cookie? Do you want some kind of... Oh, wow, you're so great. Like, yes? What do you mean? Like, do you see how easy it is to apply this like incredibly lazy logic and behavior to anything? Like, oh, wow, so you've never been to prison for 20 years for assaulting several minors. Wow, good for you. Like, moral grandstanding much? Like, can you even see me way down here off your high horse? Like, you can talk like that, but it doesn't make you right. Like, we can all see through this as absolute bullshit.
Signaling with a spreadsheet. Fear-mongering as content strategy. My personal, despise this. Scare tactics get engagement. Look what happens when you cheat. Gets shares, comments, and makes people feel smart for agreeing with obvious consequences.
So then what is your point? She's like, okay, so you have all of the numbers in your favor. So you have tons of statistics behind you. So there's literally years and years of historically documented consequences that I agree exist. So what, you think you're cool for like trying not to get me to not do this stupid shit anyway? Like, you just sound like a teenager with no real life experience, despite having lots of real life experience. Like you even say the consequences are incredibly obvious. Does she think that like trying to educate people on the harm of like alcoholism and drug use is also like just useless stuff. Like, wow, good for you reminding me I shouldn't be drinking and driving. Okay, do you want like a statue in your honor? Like,
It's clickbait morality, using extreme cases to make universal claims. Andy Byron was a CEO with millions at stake. Not exactly your average affair situation, but using his extreme case makes all affairs seem equally catastrophic.
aren't they? Am I wrong? Isn't this the same woman who has literally created content where she says things like, oh, don't tell the spouse, don't blow up the spot because, you know, these things have a way of coming out anyway. It'll come out. It'll come out. Like, the consequences are so obvious. Didn't like 2 seconds ago you just said the consequences are very obvious? So like, that sounds kind of equally catastrophic. Like, on a literal monetary level, like, people are probably not paying the exact amount, but like, per capita, like, per situation, it's all heartbreak, baby. Like, it's all emotional devastation. It's all inability to trust again. It's all depletion of self-esteem. Like, what do you mean? Like, oh my gosh, like, you guys are acting like all affairs are so bad. They are. Well, yeah, there are some that are like, I guess, not as bad as others. That will always exist. But of all affairs discovered, I think we can all agree that the level of emotional devastation and upset is going to be pretty high tier. Like, it's going to be a real anomaly of a case where someone finds out that they've been cheated on and they're just like, shit, all right, well, I'll just pack up my things and like, I'll see you later. You guys have fun. Like, she is cute. She is cute though. And if you guys ever want to like go disc golfing or something, like, that's gonna be really fringe responses to being cheated on. Probably the one response that Chelsea thinks is appropriate. Like, the way she looks at betrayed spouses, I'm always like, you aren't really handling this well, are you? You could be a bit more mature about this. Like, yeah, we could argue ideally we all handle finding out that we have been absolutely gaslit to taken advantage of, like all these late nights we spent holding it down or working longer hours to make up for like weird missing money that's suddenly gone from the joint account. Like, it's just, you're not handling that well enough. You could be more mature about it.
It's like saying don't drive cars because of one fatal accident.
No, it's like saying that telling someone they should wear a seatbelt is shaming them. That's what it's like. Telling people not to have affairs is not like telling people not to drive cars. It's like telling people not to drive cars without a seatbelt. And by all means, have as many relationships as you want with all full consent from every party is what we're saying. That's what we're saying. If you want to be single and date around, be single and date around and let people know that you are single and dating around. What you don't do is meet up with a spouse and make a legal, life-changing contract and agreement where you're like, you're not allowed to cheat on me. And they're like, I won't. I'll be loyal to you. And then they do, but then you run around behind their back and like use all of the family money and leave them alone and take care of the kids and domestic responsibilities while you're just like off living a double life. Like,
focusing only on consequences, never causes. Notice there's zero curiosity about why this happened.
is she saying we didn't victim blame enough? I truly think that's what she just said right now. She was like, it's weird that you're all just mad that a married man was seen out being extremely intimate with someone who's not his wife, instead of asking, why would he feel the need to cheat on his wife? Was she not putting out? Like, that's how I interpreted that statement. Like, what do you mean we weren't curious enough about the situation? You could argue, oh, well, maybe they were in an open relationship, but I feel like that theory has been pretty debunked by the fact that, like, she is, I believe, said that he deserves all of this, and the company has let him go. I think if it was all on the up and up, maybe there wouldn't be so many consequences, but you never know. Really quick, Pulov, I am married. Must be new here. Must be new to the Tripod Appreciation Club.
What is missing in his marriage? What led to...
Oh my god, she literally did go on to immediately victim blame. Why are you mad at him for cheating and not asking why were his needs not being met? Dude, this... I'm sorry, I don't say this very often, but this is a psychopath. Like, this is demented, dude. That your first response to someone blatantly cheating on their wife is like, well, what did she do wrong? Girl, the internalized misogyny is indeed coming from within the house.
this choice? Nope, just cheating bad. Look at the numbers. The fantasy that fear prevents affairs. As if people having affairs are doing cost-benefit analyses. Let me check this viral post before I catch feelings from my coworker.
Yeah, we all know they're clearly not, so I do agree with you there.
That's not how human emotion and connection work. Performative concern for the children. The real tale? Dragging kids into it with statistics about divorce outcomes.
Oh boy, okay, so she's gonna go on to like absolutely hate everything this CPA says, where he politely and reasonably encourages young men and women, especially those who are career driven and mindful of their reputations, that having affairs is not responsible or a good look. She's just infuriated about these takes. So she's gonna go on to like attempt to disarm him, I guess. His next tweet that she's trying to attack reads, Andy has 2 children with his wife. If this affair leads to divorce, they'll be 2 times more likely to drop out of school, 3 times more likely to experience violence and instability, 4 times more likely to suffer from mental illness. They didn't choose any of this, but they'll live with the consequences. These statistics are accurate. I quote them all the time on this channel, which is why I advocate for equal shared parenting so hard. Now, of course, this can be avoided if they agree to do 50-50 custody and he has adequate time with his children, plays an active role in their lives. But, you know, I have to assume that a man having an entire ass double life, some people are really good at it though. I don't know. But this is accurate. The stats here are accurate. And she's like, how dare you bring his children into it? We're supposed to pretend he doesn't have kids. We're just supposed to pretend that people who have affairs don't have kids. For someone who's like really big on talking about the scary things and like, you know, taking on a whole new perspectives for things that we don't typically talk about. Like, you're trying to hide entire parts of the equation under a blanket, much like you have been for the last several years of having a platform about your husband's Chinese children that he completely abandoned and that you refuse to claim in any capacity. And in my opinion, try to convince your audience that they don't exist. It's interesting how, you know, he kind of slipped in your podcast that the hardest part of divorcing his wife was having to tell his kids, meaning these Chinese kids are old enough to understand language and understand what's going on. And yet, you got him out here to America to live the great American dream of being the ultimate pick-me, getting a married man to choose you over his wife and kids. And yet, when people ask you how many kids do you have, you only claim the children that you've had with Stan. And when people press you and go, but how many kids do you have together, like as a total unit, you still only say 3. You pretend that Stan's kids in China are under a blanket too. So I guess this is intellectually consistent for you. What a woman. What a godly woman.
This isn't concern for children. It's emotional manipulation to make the moral argument stronger. I hope this helps.
I hope this helps.
My biggest ask of my followers and also my clients is be mindful of the content you ingest. Don't feed the fears. Nobody can predict the consequences for you, but you are more than capable of withstanding them. Okay? Okay.
So, for $79 to $89 per annual quarter, you can pay Grandma Side Piece to tell you to just keep fucking up your life if that's what you want to do, and don't worry about it. Don't think about the consequence. Don't even think. Just do. Just get as much dick as you possibly can, and don't worry about it. Don't worry about your pH balance. Don't worry about STIs. Don't worry about getting pregnant and not knowing who the dad is. You can withstand it. You'll be good, girl. You'll be fine. If you can stand listening to me for entire hours of phone calls while paying me an absorbent amount of money while I have 0 qualifications, you'll be fine. You're good, dude. Amazing. Incredible. How did she get so good at what she does? I'm gonna lower this down. I know that we only have like half an hour left of the stream. This is just so high up. I'm so small. Is it too short now? What's up? Hello. Wow, I appear to have ruined everything. Oh my god. What is Okay, thank God. Wow, we were really buffering there for a second, but this is a lot better. Okay, this is good. There's more of me now. Enjoy this half hour of slightly more physical Dadvocate. I just had to cover yet another goofy ass cheater. Just this is the kind of content. This is the kind of content that she just like regularly delivers, that I'm sure that all of your cheating exes are just eating up so much. So speaking of Coldplay, oh, no way. Damn. I was going to show you this situation of this girl filmed this dude in a Target parking lot, risen up somebody by the car, and they were like, whose husband is this? Because this is affair behavior. And people found him right away. And like his wife was not the woman in the video. And he started quickly deleting his social medias. And I was watching it unfold. I labeled it here as the new Coldplay, but that went down quick. Ooh, Lord. Let me know if in the chat if you heard about that one, but that went down quick. Oh, he was a part of the Illuminati to get that one down so fast. All right. I want something kind of funny to start finishing us off here. I got some nice girls for you. While we're on the topic of cheaters getting owned, I got a good one for you. Because like I say, yeah, cheating may, or like shaming may not get a cheater to like wake up and get a grip on their behavior, but kind of showing them like the very real outcomes of this kind of thing, where how many of them do not result in any kind of happy fairy tale ending whatsoever. I mean, like, think about, how is an affair going to end well? Even if you both divorce your spouses and end up together, that's still going to be messy AF. Like, there is no way most of those work out. Like, not a chance, dude. So, but like, these stories, I think, do help prevent affairs. Like, my chronic anxiety and like knowing that, like, you know, you only get one TJ, you don't fuck something like that up, is, you know, pretty enough for me. But like, okay. You know, all the extra anti-cheating common sense helps. This one is posted. Like I said, this is from one of my favorite subreddits, r/adultery hate. So this is taken from a real post of a cheater just blogging anonymously about their life, okay? This person writes, so plot twist, he, the married man she's with, tells me yesterday that he has found messages between his wife and another man that confirm his suspicions. She's been cheating on him. He's had suspicions now for around 2 years. He's not ready to discuss what the messages say yet, he says. He wants to gather more evidence, but he will tell me eventually. He hasn't confronted her and says he doesn't know if he will, as she may bring him and I into it if she has suspicions about us two. And also, this other man is also married with 3 children, so he doesn't want to cause any issues. Says he's more pissed off than sad. He originally said he was very down at the moment. She paints herself to be an angel, but she's not. He's noticed more and more lying from her recently, and he needs to think about their son and that he is protected in terms of what he does. He also says he feels he doesn't have any right to complain or be upset at what it is. MM, that stands for married man, and I have been emotional for 18 months and physical for 7 months. Oh my God, she's like keeping track of everything. This is part of the comment. Someone was like, why is he pissed? He can be upset at her for something he's doing. Isn't that a double standard? She says double standards don't safeguard human emotions, and some people only like rules when it benefits them. Like, keep pulling at that thread, honey. You are almost there. Like, they get so close. They get so close. She's like, she is literally the other woman while having a husband, while knowing that he is married with a wife and kids. And she has the audacity to be like, she's no angel. Ugh, can you believe her? That she would have an affair? And this dude who's just been steady cheating on his wife is like, I'm heartbroken and I'm upset. You did that. It's like someone coming up and like pew-pewing you, and then you pew-pew them back, and they're like, why would you do that? Like, how are we failing to connect the dots here? And like the fact that this woman is still being such a pick-me, like, yes, he's cheating on you with me, but you don't have the right to cheat on him. Like, be so for real right now. Like, be even the tiniest bit for real. I cannot. Samantha says, I sent you some wholesome couples. I do have a wholesome bank. We can watch a couple wholesome banks to top off the evening. I missed my topic on 6-6. It'll stay up. You can start from the start, right? You can jump in from the beginning. We're wrapping up here soon anyways. Oh my God. The fact that she was like, some people only like rules when it applies to them. You mean like he did this entire time that he was cheating alone? And he wasn't expecting it to happen to him? Don't get me wrong. I don't support the wife like reverse spite cheating, if that is what it is. It could just be a coincidence, like, right? Like, she might have no idea that he's cheating and just, like, have chosen to do it. Maybe. But still, no, you do not have the right. You do not have the right. If you are actively cheating, no. Like, it's crazy, too, because they'll do these mental gymnastics where they're like, well, I might be cheating, but I have no reason to believe that they know about it, so they don't have a right to cheat on me until I believe that they know about it. I'm not kidding you. Like, this is for real the way their brains work. There is no saving them, dude. Like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap on, like, any chance that they'll just keep lying to themselves and gaslighting themselves for all eternity. Oh, this is a great question. Someone asks, would you ever sub to the other woman and the wife to find out what members' content is? Go undercover and ask questions direct. So, in my opinion, like, I remember I used to think about it way back in the day before this lawsuit ever happened. But I was just like, dude, there is no freaking way I'm spending all this money just for this. Especially because before this lawsuit, before I started making, like, all these videos, she did have a pretty active comment section publicly. And so I was able to just go through the comments and read people. They would just tell on themselves right there in the comment section, like, all the time. I would just go through her comments because, like, I remember doing this like 2 to 3 years ago. Like, this was when I first started studying, like, the other women communities, because women would come on there and be like, yeah, like, I'm a 50-year-old woman. I lost my husband to cancer a few years back, and, you know, I've just been seeing a married man for like 10 years now, and, you know, I don't really mind because I'm not looking to commit to anything and I'm not looking to rat him out or anything. So, like, it works for me. And, like, people would just, like, be coming and talking in her comment section, just, like, absolutely ratting out their whole situation. No shame, which is, I guess, the point of what her channel was going for. But I'm like, I mean, good for you. Like, I'm glad that that works. But do you understand that, like, the rest of us are reading this, like, that's really gross. Like, that's so disgusting. Like, you are just messing with this poor innocent woman's pH levels. You are complicit in that. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to buy this whole, oh, but she didn't make vows to her. He's the only one to be blamed. No, if you know, you're playing a responsibility in it. You know what you're doing. We're not playing that game here of, oh, the other woman is innocent. You know what you're doing. You have every ability to stop. But also, no, I would not go undercover, especially because when I first started covering this, Chelsea actually accused me of doing just that. She sent me a cease and desist through email. And in the cease and desist, she insisted that I joined her community under false pretenses in order to sabotage her and make false claims. And then specifically, like, went into the things she didn't like. She did not like that I called her a place for teaching how to gaslight your husband while having an affair. She didn't like that I described it that way. And she was like, that is untrue, and if you were really part of the community, you would know that. And I was like, well, I'm not part of your freaking community, so don't worry about it. But yeah, she tried to hold me in violation of, like, the terms and conditions of, like, the mistress side piece code book that you have to sign to become a member. And it's like, bitch, you will never find any kind of account linked to any kind of me, girl. So I don't have to follow your little side piece rules. But it is funny that she expects side pieces to follow the rules. That's a little ironic, isn't it? That's a little bit silly. Anyway, I'm gonna randomly pick one of these Wholesome bank items. I don't know why I added this to Wholesome. It is funny, though. This one made me laugh so hard. I think some of you will find this relatable.
If you told somebody that it's my birthday and they're coming to sing happy birthday, I'm gonna stop them. Are you serious?
Very special birthday.
Are you serious?
1, 2, 3. Happy birthday from Hurricane to you. Wish you was our birthday so we could party.
That one made me especially laugh because people in the comments were like, he's non-committal, girly. Like, he did not commit. He is not a man of his word. I think we all know someone like that who is truly like, you better not do this. But you know what? He handled it like a champ. He suppressed his homicidal rage, and we're so love that. Like, this is healing, you know? Oh man, what's another one? Oh yeah, this one's good. This one actually gave me some ideas. I came across this one and I was like, wait, what's this workout routine? How do I do this? Sorry, audio only crew. You gotta watch. It's like, it looks so simple though. That's probably so good for like your glutes, your hamstrings, your abs. That'll keep them busy too for a good long time. Dude, absolutely killing it. What we love too is the mom. She posted this from an account, Gallery of Motherhood. Says, I can't. How much love I have for this man is beyond words. And yes, I love my Shark vacuum. Just a girl and her vacuum. I get it. Me and my Dyson are... No, I don't have a Dyson. What do I have? A Bissell. I have a Bissell. But it's strong on pet hair. So we love this. This is so entertaining too. Like, and just well-rounded for everyone. You know? This is one of those rising tide lifts all ships situations. We love to see it. I know. How many of y'all are going to try this with your kids later? All right. I think we're going to do like one more wholesome one and then I got to get going.
When my husband...
Okay, here's a good wholesome one. One wholesome one to end. Okay. Just got to make the YouTube video a little bit bigger. There we go. I love formatting.
Proposed to me, who proposed to me with this ring, and I was like, when my husband proposed to me, who proposed to me with this ring, and I was like, perfect. It's small, dainty, kind of like me. I just wanted something really minimal and timeless because that's just who I am. And I was like, this is so great. We're engaged. Let's talk about my wedding band. And he was like, no, Sarah, I got you covered. I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yes, I'm totally sure. I was like, wow, wonderful. We get married. He puts the band on my finger, and I'm just kind of like, wait, whoa, it's perfect. There's all these little diamonds on it. Both my wedding ring and my engagement ring were custom because it was kind of hard to find something really small at the time. It was the big rings at the time, and I'm just too little. It doesn't really look nice on me. So anyway, I'm like, this is wonderful. Thank you so much. Fast forward about 9-10 years later, we're surrounded by our children, and I'm looking at my wedding band, and I'm like, there's 7 diamonds on here. And I said to Kieran, there were 7 diamonds on my wedding band. And he was like, yes, I know. I was like, no, there's 7 diamonds on the wedding band. And he was like, Sarah, I know. And I was like, no, stop. There's 7 diamonds on my wedding band, and there's 7 people in our family. Like, what a quinky dink. And he was like, no, I know that. And I was like, no, you don't. Because I just told you there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 diamonds on my wedding band. And there's you and me, that's 2, plus 5 kids, 7. And he was like, no, I know that. And I was like, stop. No, you don't. I'm the one that figured this out. And he was like, not really. He was like, Sarah, when I chose your wedding band, the reason I chose 7 diamonds to go onto it was because 7 represented the number of completeness or perfection. And I was like, oh, that's beautiful. I had no idea. And he was like, kind of in my heart at the time was our family of 7 in the future would be represented in your wedding band to give the idea of completeness and fullness. I had like 3 wedding bands that I could choose for Kieran, and I just chose the one in the middle. When my husband
I just thought that one was pretty cute, even though she was getting a little annoying with like the, can you just listen to your man? Just listen to him, he'll tell you. But I thought that was cute because my husband also like totally picked out my ring. I gave him no ideas at all. This is all TJ. He also knew that I'm like a unique person who doesn't exactly love like complete classic traditional. And then he did something very similar to represent our family. I'm not wearing it right now. I don't know what happened to mine. I think a lot of us, like all 3 of us, they're like lost somewhere in the ether of this house. But he had gotten me and his son and himself Trinity rings, like 3 rings in one, to represent that it was not just 2 people joining in marriage, but 3. So very similar. And that was all him too. Like that was 100% his idea. So no, ladies, we are not the only ones who can think of sentimental things. Surprise, surprise. I don't know. Stop. Don't N-log me, Quantum Fantasy. Don't you dare. But like, as insofar as rings go, in many other ways, I am just like every other girl. I like when long sleeves go a little bit over my fingers, where like just the fingertips are pointing out. And I like the aesthetic of walking around with a coffee cup. And I like to fall asleep listening to true crime. In many ways, I'm just like every other girl, but in other ones, like the holding spiders thing, the handling cockroaches thing, and then not caring for like traditional diamonds, I would say, would be like some of, and every girl's got one thing, like multiple things that make them not like the other girls do, you know? How do you catch a unique Lauren? Unique up on her. Punslinger, I could do this all day. All right. I'm itchy. And I gotta go. Before I do, because, you know, unfortunately, this is the last stream of the week. Boo-hoo. But there's going to be some early access for y'all, Patreon and YouTube members. So you'll still get some more Dadvocate as the weekend goes on. We do have a live schedule, though. So you guys know I will be here every Monday and Wednesday for the rest of the school year. Unless there's breaks, you might have to give me school breaks off. Okay, and then every other week we will be doing members only lives. So next week the members only live will be on Tuesday, but that one might switch up a little bit. For the rest of you, Monday and Wednesday, 11:30 a.m. you can always catch a free stream right here. They will stay up for a good week, maybe longer if I don't feel like punching it up and it's just good up as it is. So you should be able to have time to finish it if you didn't get to finish it right away. But if you're listening to me right now, you probably finished the stream. So if you're here, just like it. Just like the stream. That helps a ton. And let me get these last couple here. Shiny, thank you, says a lab diamond is all I need to be happy. Dude, they're perfect. I love these new lab diamonds. KK Jacob says, hey girl, hey, did you catch the part? There's a part for you in here. You'll like it. You'll like that part. Okay? You might have to rewind a little bit, but you'll appreciate it. We did some work. Bop, that's stupid. Bop, that's stupid. All right, it is time to go pick up my kid from school. I have had so much fun with you guys. As always, the new chat box is looking good. We got that new format. We got that new schedule. Everybody pay respects. Somebody in the chat, go ahead and link that GoFundMe that we always love to rep and support here in these streams. What? You don't know? Just back up a bit. You will enjoy a certain segment of this live stream, girl. You will like it. You will have fun. No, you should rewind it a little bit. Okay, I gotta go. Eat a little snack before getting my kid. I will see you guys soon. Bye.